When things feel a bit chaotic, Instacart helps deliver milk and sausage. Add a little life to your cart. Get stuff from literally all your stores, from baby wipes to albacore. Add a little life to your cart. Instacart helps get your groceries. Your first 3 deliveries are free.
Download Instacart. Add life to cart. Terms apply.
Looking to give the gift of pleasure? Add a little high heat to keep the desire burning. Or maybe you just need a little self-care. Come to Lovers for the best lingerie and toys to keep things hot this holiday. Save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow Rewards. Just mention LOVE20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow Rewards membership until November 30th. Some exclusions apply.
What's up? It's your boy, The Ted Smith from The Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to Season 18, episode number 3990. Along with Steve the Throw Hill, the Ted Smith, and my car, Montgomery. And you are in the Men's Room. On tap today, the lovely Taryn Daly joins us once again. We will sit and spin now. And today we toast the Prince of Darkness with 10 songs from Ozzy Osbourne's Halloween playlist.
I hope it's as cool as we think it's going to be.
He has a playlist. We will play Profile This, plus headlines, Men's Room Shout of the Day, funnable listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted.
Clack, clack.
Drink it, they drunk. All right, here we go. A dad calls police after losing his son at the grocery store. Then realizes he left the kid at home.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, an L.A. man is arrested for going where the dinosaurs roam.
Yeah.
Man fakes being stabbed to get a ride home by ambulance from the bar. When you steal mail with rat traps, you've probably gone too far. And a woman flees from cops with a license plate that reads, "Will Run." That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, on yesterday's show, we, like a lot of other media, talked about the Alaska Airlines flight from Everett to San Francisco that made an emergency landing in Portland. Now, it made the emergency landing after an off-duty pilot tried to shut down the flight's engines mid-flight. The good news is he was not successful, but he was arrested and charged with, among other things, 83 counts of attempted murder. Now, the thing that we wondered about was whether or not the captain or the airline told passengers what was actually going on. And today we got our answer, which is hell no. A passenger, quoted by Como News, says that they had no idea what was going on. No one told them anything, and that they only found out that someone had tried to kill them when they read about it online this morning. The passenger said had he known the truth, he would have rented a car in Portland and driven the rest of the way to San Francisco. Now, that said, did he really want to know? Like, sure, knowledge is power, but ignorance is bliss. And here's a fine example from a story that's making the rounds today. Now, we have not confirmed whether or not this is true, but several different news sites have picked it up. And in a nutshell, there was a joint bachelorette party that took place in Amsterdam. One of the ladies allegedly got drunk enough that she entered a booth that had a glory hole, and she performed, well, a mouth hug. Only to find out later that the man on the other side of it was... You thinking the groom? No.
No.
How about her father?
Oh, God.
Like I said, the story has not been confirmed, but it is making rounds to several different news sites. We're going to share the story with you. I mean, it's out there. But either way, it's part of the inspiration for today's question. And it's just this. For better or worse, what did you find out later in life?
To be a part of the big show, call 206-803-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live, and send your emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Have you or a loved one been injured in an accident? Are you struggling to recover fair compensation? Look no further. At Phillips Law Firm, the experienced personal injury attorneys will fight for your rights and get you the justice and compensation you deserve. They handle a wide range of cases, including car accidents, slip and falls, medical malpractice, and workplace injuries. Justice is a phone call away, so don't wait. Call today for a free case review. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
From the very beginning, your kids mean everything to you. That means you do anything for them, especially if they're at risk. So when it comes to type 1 diabetes, screen it like you mean it. Because even if just one person in the family has it, your child is up to 15 times more likely to get it too. Screen it like you mean it. Because type 1 diabetes can develop at any age. And once you get results, you can get prepared for your child's future. So screen it like you mean it. Type 1 starts long before there are symptoms. But one blood test could help you spot it early, before they need insulin, and could lower the risk of serious complications like diabetic ketoacidosis or DKA. Talk to your doctor about how to screen for type 1 diabetes. Because the more you know, the more you can do. So don't wait. Tap now or visit screenfortype1.com to learn more. Again, that's screenfortype1.com. Screen it like you mean it.
Transit is better with an Orca card. Here's why. 1, it's easy. Just tap and pay your way onto Metro and all other public transit around the Sound. 2, your tap shows us when and where you're riding the most, so Metro can serve you better. And 3, Orca cards are for everyone. 18 and younger now ride free with a free youth Orca card. So what are you waiting for? Get an Orca card. Tap for transit and make your ride count today. Visit kingcounty.gov/tap for transit.
Debauchery rolls on. You're listening to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
All the Charles, away we go. Welcome to season 18, episode number 3990. What a large and a charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat. Lovely Taryn Daly is going to join us. We're going to sit and spin once again as we get so close to Halloween. Today we find out what the Prince of Darkness is into, as Ozzy Osbourne has released his favorite Halloween playlist.
Did they ask him to do this, or is this something that Ozzy already has?
Do you really want me to give you my honest answer on this?
Yeah, I feel like they reached out and said, Ozzy, if you were to make it, because you're that guy, right? A Halloween playlist, what would it be? I just have a hard time believing that, it hits October and he's drinking a pumpkin spice and screams to Sharon to fire up his Spotify Halloween playlist.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I believe that somebody went with about 50 songs.
Which ones would you pick?
Ozzy, these are all somewhat Halloween themed. Just pick some songs, will you?
Please.
And he went, okay. And then he went down the list and he picked what he likes.
And look, we don't know, but one of us is right about this.
Obviously, though, it's not a bad Halloween playlist.
Sure.
As far as the songs go.
Maybe he just loves it.
Well,
what would be your top Halloween song, right?
Monster Mash.
All right, but that's okay.
Yeah.
All right, you are right. I like the Monster Mash, too.
I mean, there's only so many of them.
That's what I'm saying.
Monster Mash. The Monster Mash.
Do you have one, Mike?
No, I was just going to explain that Halloween songs aren't exactly like Christmas songs, where Christmas songs are all about Christmas.
Sure.
Halloween songs, you get like a couple, like the Monster Mash, that are like Halloween Party with the bowl of punch, and you play that. Or more, I feel like around this time of year, we just start listening to more spooky stuff. We listen to the Rob Zombies. The
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Cooper.
It's more rock focused as far as Ozzy's playlist is concerned.
I would think so. Yeah.
So it's not something I wouldn't expect to hear these songs at a Halloween party because I would go back to the Monster Mash and all the
Nightmare on My Street.
Yeah, but they all make perfect. They all make perfect sense. And Ozzy did not pick that song. You'd be shocked to know.
Okay,
that's not one of his.
That's a terrible song.
I don't know. Mr. Blue Sky's on the list, so
Mr.
Blue Sky, sure, little ELO. So, Taryn's going to join us. We've got 10 songs from Ozzy Osbourne's Halloween playlist coming up with Sit and Spin. And as we do every Monday through Friday, lucky you get more Men's Room exclusively on the Odyssey app. Right after we get off the air at 6 o'clock, we head over to the Odyssey app for more Men's Room. Check out the Men's Room page. You'll find the Men's Room Happy Hour channel. Now, typically for 24 hours, that just plays a loop of our show. Mm-hmm. We break into that program at 6 o'clock for episode number 484 of the Men's Room Happy Hour and go over some NFL picks from the weekend.
Oh, boy.
Boy, we tear it up this weekend.
Yeah.
As far as being prognosticators.
I think last night capped it all for me. Like, okay.
There's a reason we don't do sports talk radio. There's a reason that we don't do picks. There's a reason that we don't tell you what to do if you're going to Vegas.
It's not that we've got takes. They're just wrong.
All of them. Yeah, we have.
Most of the time.
Doing sports radio, too.
Yeah, well, I mean.
We did sports radio. I'm telling you, you'll agree with me on this. You give your honest opinion, and you have all the facts. You've done the research. You tell people why, and then that game happens, and you're like, ignore me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that's it, right? We know you could be Stephen A., any of these guys. None of them know anything more than you do in any sport. They're just good broadcasters.
Right.
They have no idea.
They're entertaining.
Right.
Their job is to be
But
entertaining.
they don't know.
But they don't. I mean, sports is tough because, look, at the end of the day, neither team knows.
You know, that's a really good point.
No.
Ask the 49ers, like, no, we didn't think we'd lose. If we did, we wouldn't have played.
There's no. I will say this in the world of radio, and I do respect anybody who does this job because it's not an easy job, and it's difficult for your family if you're moving around,
right,
taking different jobs and everything else. And then if you're in sports talk radio, you're doing a show based on one subject alone. But if you ever go to a sports talk radio party, like if they're ever in a bar or something like that,
brother,
it is one of the most. You got dudes with headsets on, like headphones. You got the guy walking in. He's got the silk jacket from like the 1977 Seattle Seahawks on.
I think it depends. The big sports radio thing I did.
White socks hiked up near his knees.
No, dude, not at all. Listen, I did one major thing with all these national sports radio guys, and this was down in Costa Rica. Sports.
That's a little different.
But these are the guys, and I'm telling you, man. A lot of people in radio drink really heavy, right? I don't even think that's a secret. Probably the same in TV, whatever. But man, sports radio guy, like when they start drinking and throwing down, it was a different kind of experience.
Well, there's a lot of ex-athletes involved and everything else.
Yeah, and they can.
I'm talking about
drink.
the people who showed up at the party that I went to.
Oh, the people that show up.
Yes, correct.
That's different.
I walked in there. I was like, wow. I thought it was weird when I worked at a classic rock station in Baltimore. Right. I'd have some people come up to me and wax philosophic on Jethro Tull. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to shoot myself. Why did I pick this profession? But, yeah. So join us for the Men's Room Happy Hour. We'll go over those picks coming up. If you don't have the Odyssey app, by the way, download it now. It is absolutely free. Okay, so today on the question, it can go heavy, it can go light. For better or for worse, what did you find out later in life? Some things are just information that you did not know in general about certain things or basic things. Other things get a little bit heavier. I think that Ancestry.com and
revealed many things for many people.
DNA made some families have their they were surprised to find out certain information, or it could be something like you didn't realize how badass your grandfather was in World War II, or what your grandmother did.
But it could be anything. Like, and something, look, there's a couple of things, and most people, as you get older, anyway, you'll have this experience where we always go Thanksgiving dinner. I don't know why, but it's Thanksgiving dinner, and you're a grown-up now, you got your own family, and you're talking to your parents, and like anything, you laugh about all the things that you got in trouble for, what they were mad about, and your parents tell you a few things you didn't know. And then you bring up something like, yeah, remember when you guys were really mad? I was about 15 years old because the neighbor hit your car with blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that was me. I crashed it into right. There's always like that trade of certain things. And to this day, there are 2 or 3 things that my brother very silently agree. Don't even bring it up now.
We're never talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, he's almost 60. I'm 54. My parents are in their 80s, and it's still like, man, I don't know what it is.
Right, get your ass kicked.
There's just still something where it's like, I really
80-year-old man just beating your ass.
Let's not broach this topic. Seriously, there's a few of those that to this day, like, I'm not bringing it up. He's like, no, They never found out, or they did find out, but they thought something else was responsible. Yeah. And I'm not bringing it up. And like I said, there's only 2 or 3. I've come clean about most things. But, a few of those.
Well, you brought up your mom last week and the fact that when, I guess, your grandmother passed away, that they went to clean out her belongings. And your mom had no idea that your grandmother and your grandfather, had 3 rental properties.
They had 4 rental properties.
4 rental properties.
$95,000 in cash.
Underneath the bed.
We'd been around all that money for years.
And your mom didn't know your dad's real name.
Her dad's real name.
Her dad's real name.
Nobody did. She's one of 5 children. All of them were like, what? Because they found like the old birth certificates and are wondering who this particular person was. And as I dug through more stuff and started seeing legal stuff, they're like, the name the name we all grew up with was Casey. Everyone just assumed his name was Casey. You know why? Because everyone called him Casey, including his wife, his children, his friends, anyone. If we find out that's not remotely his name, it's not even his middle name. Like, it's just a name that he picked. I don't even know if he picked it. We don't know how he got the name Casey because his name was Ulysses.
Yeah.
Which is a badass name. But, nobody knew.
So even if it was just the next day, even if it was years after the fact, even if it was decades after the fact, if you did not know something, whether it was just general information or things from your past life, your family's past life, that's basically what we're going to talk about today. So
sometimes it's even a few minutes. And, like, the one thing that always resonates in my mind was went skydiving once, jump out of the plane. It was a great drop. Mm-hmm. And now keep in mind, they're also videotaping this thing. So they, give the devil signs, put your tongue out, yell woohoo, all this stuff. And at one point, because we're going tandem, the guy that I'm attached to says, hey, do me a favor. And he's kind of upbeat about it. Like, kick your feet like a bicycle. And I'm debating, like, I don't want to be on video doing this.
Right.
And he's like, no, seriously, man, kick your feet like a bicycle. And I kicked my feet like a bicycle. And anyway, we land. I don't even give it a thought. And when we kind of detach the parachute, he goes, hey, man, I know this only happened like 10 minutes ago. The reason I told you to kick your legs like a bicycle, and I'm not sure how the physics of this works, but he goes, basically, if you didn't, the parachute would have gotten tangled up, and we would have plummeted into the ground and presumably died. Mm-hmm. And I said, I am so glad you didn't tell me that at the time. And he said that you're not the first person this happened to, but he goes, you absolutely, positively do not tell someone that because he goes, you might panic. And as long as you thought you're just doing something silly, you're more inclined to do it. And I'm like, that's good thinking, because I would have panicked. If you said I can't get the chute open, I absolutely would have panicked.
It seems like
it's a fair time to panic.
Mm-hmm. Right, but that's why he didn't bring it up.
But that's basically what happened with that Alaska Airlines flights that were the one of the pilots who was not a pilot on that plane, but was sitting in the jump seat flying down to San Francisco to be the pilot of a different aircraft.
Right.
He's in the cockpit.
He's in the cockpit, but he is not part of the crew. He is just.
But I believe he was in
uniform,
uniform, right?
He might have been.
I think he was in uniform.
I guess it's a common practice for them not to take a seat on the plane.
Absolutely.
There's an extra seat in the cockpit.
Jump seat.
Hey, you could just... I know, I'm just saying cockpit, because generally jump seat, you're looking at the flight attendant. Mm-hmm. Like, he's in there. It's not like he opened the door. He's already in there.
He's in there.
Oh, yeah.
But one thing we know about air travel, whether you are stuck on the tarmac for 2 hours, whether your flight is delayed, the way the airline industry works, and it's a smart way to do it because you got a bunch of people in a very small enclosed area, is never... under any circumstances, tell them the truth.
No.
You cannot do it at that point in time.
The only time you can't deny it is if the engine's on fire and they can see it. But otherwise, we have found out.
They don't want you to know that there's a fuel leak.
2 of our engines shut off on a flight we were on, right? One of those 4 engine jets. We did not know. Okay, and we never thought about it, and there was nothing weird about the flight at all. Like I said, as far as we knew, everything was fine. When we landed, though, and I was impressed, the pilot, welcome to wherever the hell we were going. By the way, 2 of our engines, like he told us.
Right.
But on this particular aircraft, and he explained that on this aircraft, he was boasting about the aircraft, that essentially that doesn't matter much because they have all these things. But as he's saying it, we're still looking at each other like, then don't bring it up, man.
Right. There was a situation.
There was
a situation 15 years ago where a flight, I believe, was coming into San Francisco. Don't quote me on that. But either way,
Miles said San Francisco.
When JetBlue, or one of the earlier low-fare carriers, started out, they were one of the first to have live television.
It was awesome.
In the back of the seats. So you could watch television, and even though that they were a discount carrier, they had that technology where most of the other planes had not upgraded to that. So there's a flight coming in, and they cannot get the landing gear down.
But that's not what the pilots said.
They did not tell the passengers on the plane.
They said the airport was busy.
They might have said at the last minute, get in the crash position. But up until the point...
They told the passengers that And you always believe this because we understand airports are busy. They were flying into a major city. Just, hey, we're going to circle around until we get the clearance on the runway. And everybody was cool with that because we've all been through that.
Yeah, and they've told me that too. I've circled
Now
around
I
San
don't believe
Francisco
them.
Airport a number of times, and there's like, well, we're almost out of fuel, or we're going to dump fuel, or whatever the deal is. We're probably going to end up in San Jose, and I'm just like, that's not where I'm going.
Right.
But that might be where we're going to land. But either way, so the passengers on the plane are watching CNN. What does CNN do? They break into their regularly scheduled program to cover this plane that's coming in, but has no landing gear. And the passengers on the plane who are watching CNN went, hey, that's us.
Because they give the flight number.
And they
didn't like
figured it out.
anything, but you got to
They
keep in
figured it
mind.
out.
Not only is CNN showing this plane go around, keep in mind, the pilot has not told them
They
this
haven't told
yet.
them anything.
And the pilot is unaware that they're all watching the coverage of this now.
Mm-hmm.
But CNN being CNN, of course, first thing they do is reach out to a former FAA guy, just going, well, I'll tell you right now, if you can't get the landing gear down, you know, you can try to do these things, but let's face it, only 20% of the time does that work because of jet fuel, the light on fire. Boy, we hope to avoid that. Well, you're watching this. You're listening to a quote-unquote expert explain that you have an 80% chance of dying based on, but you're sitting on the plane and your pilot's telling you, yeah, those runways are awfully crowded.
So Paul Stephen was one of the passengers on the flight. All right. So when did Stephen learn exactly what was happening on the plane?
Because that was our question yesterday. We said, look, it is unlikely that the pilot said, hey, someone just tried to crash the plane.
He learned this morning. It was literally this morning.
This morning, yeah.
I had to read it in the articles. We were talking about it in the terminal last night, that we'd probably never hear about it in the news. It's an Alaska employee. There's a security issue, like it's suppressed one way or another. They just didn't think too much about it. He told Como News that had he known the night before, he probably would have rented a car and driven back home. Keep in mind, they dumped that plane pretty quick down into Portland.
He said, basically, they said, we're going to make an emergency landing in Portland. And right after they made that announcement, he said this plane veered sharply to the right to land.
And then they came in and they took the passenger off the plane. I could clearly see that it was an Alaskan Airlines employee. I don't know how long they sat there, but they ended up, I guess, continuing the flight on to San Francisco. I'm assuming. I didn't read the rest of the story.
I don't know if they used the same plane, but yeah, they got these people to San Francisco, which was his point, just going,
you don't know.
Right.
Just like those passengers when they're...
It was, by the way, it was a JetBlue flight going into Long Beach or Los Angeles, Texas.
Okay,
letting us know. But either way, right.
Yeah. But they didn't know.
But do you want to know?
The landing gear's not going down. That's what I'm saying. You can't... I understand.
Would you want to know... I would not want to... Just lie to me and say, yeah, man, that the runway's busy. Or I'm fine with that because we've heard that before. Now I wonder how many times that was the truth.
Look, here's what I'm doing.
But if you say we can't get the landing gear down... I'm saying, man, maybe you get a 3-minute window before panic just takes over the plane.
Okay. I don't know how this ended up. I don't know if the landing gear came down on the plane or whatever the deal was. But let's just say that this guy, and this is before this happened, but let's just say he wants to Sully Sullenberger this thing, right?
All right.
So instead of dumping that thing and trying to land it on the runway, he says, you know what, man? I'm going to head out to Huntington Beach and try to land this thing right off the shore. Now, you land the plane in the Pacific Ocean right off Huntington Beach.
Okay.
Which is great white shark-infested waters. Would you rather take the chance of landing out in the ocean off the shore in Huntington Beach near the pier, or would you rather the guy try to belly it on an asphalt runway?
I'm taking the ocean.
Belly?
I'm taking belly it.
I'm taking the ocean.
Yeah.
Could you imagine being in a crash plane, then getting eaten by a great white shark?
I'd be so pissed.
Or drowning.
That would be a great movie, though.
That would be awful.
Yeah, but a good movie.
Good movie.
Think about Jaws.
Yeah.
Jaws was a good movie.
There was nothing in the Hudson River. Now, you got all these fins coming around, just swirling around the plane.
But at least Sully was
gray,
honest.
but with ocean.
What's that?
It's like the Gray, but with ocean.
But it was a good movie.
Yeah.
That's our point,
That's what
man.
I'm saying.
Exactly.
But now there's sharks.
Exactly.
You add sharks to any movie, boom.
Your movie got better.
Sharknado.
Dude, when you add sharks, Miles is right. Add a shark to your movie just got like 10 more points on Rotten Tomatoes.
Right. LL Cool J. He just died, right? He just got eaten by a shark.
No, he didn't
die.
He didn't die.
I kept waiting for him to die, but he didn't
That's one of the great things about that movie.
Deep Blue Sea? Was that
Deep Blue Sea.
Deep Blue Sea. See,
Classic.
Shark made it a better movie. For better or for worse, what did you find out later in life? 206-803-ROCK.
Therapy is known to be extremely helpful. But have you ever tried eavesdropping on someone else's problems? Listen to the new podcast, Say More with Dr. Sheila, starring Amy Poehler as the world-renowned self-proclaimed couples therapist.
My mother will come over when she says she will. Knowing that she's always going to be there is really nice for me because I don't have to make my own cereal.
Listen to Say More with Dr. Sheila on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Experience what your customer experiences with user testing. Whether you're launching a new product, prototype, or marketing campaign, you'll get real-time video feedback straight from the source. The User Testing Human Insight platform lets you understand it all from your customer's perspective. You can target your exact audience, ask questions, and get a window into their world. The result? You feel what your customer feels so you can build the best experience imaginable. For a free trial, visit usertesting.com/audio.
9.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, a couple of just not the heaviest things in the world that you learn later in life, but just a couple light ones here. I was almost 40 years old when I learned that I am allergic to bananas. I thought everyone's mouth got real itchy when they ate them. Turns out that was just me. I just learned this one the other day myself. And I know, Steve, you know a lot of this crap because you put together a Big Dummy, but the sodas are called soft drinks because they have no hard alcohol.
Thank you, Big Dummy. That is why I knew, yeah.
And back then, I never knew that.
I was going to say, I only knew that from watching stuff like...
the Drinks That Built America?
Yeah, something like that. Right?
Baby carrots are just shaved down big carrots. I was devastated a few years ago to find out that they weren't little teeny tiny carrots.
What about paprika?
Paprika is ground
red pepper. Dried red pepper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that's like a year ago.
And the thing that blew my mind, like 5 years ago, just found out the chilies are just dried peppers.
Yeah.
I was just like, get the F out of here.
Right.
But it makes complete sense.
And one more. We all know this little piggy. I don't know if any little child that I've ever had on my lap with their socks off and their little toes sticking out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I did not do, whether it was my nieces, my kids. This little piggy went to market. You know that one? Mm-hmm. This little piggy stayed home.
And the kids giggled because
This little
it's cute.
piggy had roast beef, and this little piggy had none. But this little piggy cried, wee, 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 all the way home. My mom used to do that to me, and I remember her doing that.
And you thought it was cool stuff.
My grandfather, that was his thing. If the piggies were out, the piggy thing came on.
Constantly.
So we find out what this little piggy's all about. I did not know this until today. It is a Mother Goose rhyme, as you know. But it isn't really describing a cohort of pigs taking a nice little trip to the marketplace. You see, the first little piggy, this little piggy went to market, goes to the market to be sold as meat. This little piggy went to market. This little piggy stayed home. Piggy number 2. The second piggy stayed home as a breeding stock pig so that you could have more pigs. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this little piggy went to market. This little piggy stayed home. This little piggy had roast beef, of all things. Because the third piggies get fed the leftovers from the table to fatten his ass up. And this little piggy had none. And the reason that piggy had none is because you don't feed the pigs before you slaughter them. Now, the fifth piggy, he cries, wee, 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 all the way home. He's a happy pig. Why is he a happy pig? Because they took him to the market, and they didn't sell his ass.
He's not going to die.
And take him back home.
I get to live.
That's it. That's this little piggy right there. Summed up. Get out of here. So our question, for better or for worse, what did you find out later in life? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Nathan. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
Hola.
Hey, congratulations on your up-and-coming 3,000th episode.
Hey, it's just like saying that, this guy hasn't missed a field goal all year. All wide right.
Uh-huh.
All wide right. The Packers lose.
And it's 4.
We're not there yet.
4,000. No, we've done 3,000.
Yeah.
Oh, 4,000. I'm sorry.
Right, yeah.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it. Hopefully we make it.
Mm-hmm.
So when we were kids, the cousins and I, we found that if you put like a back massager on your nose and make you sneeze, so we'd run around, putting this massager on our nose. It wasn't until, a few months ago, I was thinking about that, and I realized the massager was from underneath my grandma's bed.
Oh man.
No.
Yeah, they probably looked like a bunch of little scar faces.
Oh, my God. Oh, God.
Grandma.
That is a horror.
Jesus.
Oh, man. That is... That's a fine but disgusting description. So is it just one of those things you're thinking back about funny, happy childhood memories and you kind of piece together the reality?
It kind of. Somebody asked me, they're like, hey, I feel like I got to sneeze, but I can't do it. And I was like, oh, when we were kids, we put a back massager on our nose. And then all of a sudden it was like everything coming together in my head, like, oh my God. I had to call my cousin immediately. And he was like, I never thought about that.
I was going to ask if you shared that with the other participants. So was it as disturbing to him as it was to you?
It was, but we got a good laugh out of it.
Yeah. Now, did Grandma ever see you guys doing this, or is it just something you did when she wasn't looking?
I don't remember, but I remember our parents seeing it and just, like, not thinking anything of it.
I wonder if it made you sneeze because of the smell.
Right. Like, you're allergic to Grandma. Ew.
Yeah.
Grandma.
Well, like our friend Robin, he just said, probably made her grandma sneeze.
Yeah. Oh, God. And how old were you when you did this?
It was probably like early 90s, so probably like 10 or 11.
Well, believe it or not, I do remember reading that a sneeze is the closest that your body gets to actually having an orgasm as far as the reaction.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
As far as
because it feels that good. It doesn't feel that good, but it's a close second.
Right. And it's also one of those things you can't control, so sorry if it didn't go long enough.
I was trying to hold that sneeze.
What do you? I was gonna say when I was a kid too, that was like a big giant no-no.
What's that?
Like going into your grandparents' bedroom. Even like my parents' room was kind of off limits.
Yeah, we never went in my parents' room, man.
And I remember going to my grandma's room. You've talked about it too. Like you're not prepared for the wigs.
You're not prepared for the wigs and the fact that they had them on heads. I think that was the difference, where there's like a shelf of heads staring at you, and you realize, like, that's Grandma at church, that's Grandma at dinner, that's Grandma on the fly because someone's coming over. Like, oh, damn, man. And she would even say, when I got older, I realized what she was saying to my mother. So my mother would say, well, hey, we're going to take you guys to wherever we're going. And she would ask my mom, well, Kaylin, which hair should I wear? And I just thought she meant like hairstyle. Never occurred to me. Like she literally had a wig for each specific occasion. Mm-hmm. And she'd
I just didn't realize older women wore wigs.
Oh, really?
Right. Until I was like 10, and you're just like, what in the hell is this?
I did know that only because my great-grandmother, a woman, lived to be 107 years old. And for the early part of my life, she'd wear a wig. But as she got older, her hair would be crooked. Right. You know, and you wouldn't say anything because she was a terrifying woman. But my brother kind of explained to me, well, man, it's not like real hair. She's getting old. And then at the end, she just stopped wearing a wig. And she didn't have bad hair. Right. It was just gray.
Well, my grandfather was one of two mailmen in the town that he lived in.
All right,
and they rotated their routes.
Okay,
so if somebody they would shift every once in a while, but there was only a couple of guys that did it. And my grandfather would come home every day for lunch and eat his bologna sandwich and sit down with a Coke and some Lay's potato chips or Snyder's or whatever the hell it was. And he would tell my grandmother everything that was going on in their town. And I thought that my grandfather either knew everybody or was like the mayor of the town or he knew when people got eviction notices.
Yeah.
He knew when they were late on their bills. He knew when they were getting letters, correspondence stuff. And it was because he was a mailman. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people were at home at the time, so he talked to everybody.
Sure.
Not only that, but even if he did not talk to them, he knew exactly what was going on in their home because he was delivering the mail. He was delivering the packages. He had dirt on everybody. He knew everybody.
This envelope's pink. You might want to pay up.
He knew everybody's business. Like, oh, I think Jeannie's going to get evicted. Why do you think that? Well, because I delivered it.
It's the pink letter.
Right. But I was like, man, he knows everything. Probably like 12 years old. Like, yeah, he's a mailman in a small town.
In a small town, yeah, man.
I mean, even when I grew up College Park, like we knew the mailman on our route. And the only thing I always felt bad for him is I became like a teenager because the guy couldn't go anywhere.
What do you mean?
Like everybody knew him.
That's the same with my grandma. That's why I thought well, you could not go. You could not go to the Western Sizzler. You could not go to McDonald's. You could not walk into the Piggly Wiggly grocery store. Anywhere we went, Stroh Snyder's Deli. It did not matter. Every single I thought he was the king of the world.
Right.
I mean, it was like Jimmy, and I was like, just like, man. I don't know what's.
He was like Kevin Costner in The Postman.
I just remember our postman, right? Because my dad had quit drinking when I was pretty young, but he'd always be like, that guy could drink like a long Texan or something. And I'm like, so you grow up thinking this guy's like a booze hound. Now, he drank at the bar I ended up working at, Town Hall. He's a super nice guy. Like, he came in on Fridays and had drinks. I was like, but everybody knew who he was.
because he's well, like I said, man, my dad, he's still friends with this dude. They've known each other since kindergarten. So it's like 78 years they have been friends. And I only found out maybe 20 years ago that he's never been sober. My mother's like, you've never seen him sober. Now, he's a very functioning alcoholic. He gets stuff done, but she's like, baby, you've never seen him sober. She goes, ever. Not once in your life from the time you're born until actually I talked to him about 3 weeks ago. My mom's like, hey, so-and-so is here. You know, he always talks as he wants to talk to you. I'm like, cool. So we chatted. My mom gets on the phone. I can hear her leave the other room because the TV gets more distant. It's like, yeah, he's hammered. I'm like, you can't tell, but I'm like, I only know that now. She pointed it out. But then as I got older, I would just kind of watch him. And my dad, anytime this guy came into town, my dad would go to the liquor store and come home with 2 big-ass handles of Jack Daniels. The thing about it was he never stayed more than 3 days. It's not like he's there for 2 weeks. And that stuff would be drained clean.
Putting in the work.
Right. Dude, he absolutely, but nicest guy you'll ever meet. Always had fun with him, but she's like, literally, you've never seen him sober.
I really like this one from a thread that says, I learned that I grew up in a white trash family. Around the age of 10, through watching television is when I understood what was going on. One night I was watching TV, Jeff Foxworthy came on. I was an only child who, to the best of my knowledge, got everything I ever wanted, had no idea about things that I maybe needed or could have otherwise. Foxworthy well into his skit, and I was avidly listening. He says, if you watch TV on a TV that sits on top of a broken TV, you might be a redneck. I said, wait, what? I'm watching TV that's sitting on top of a broken TV. Jeff continues, if you have a broken down car sitting in your front yard that hasn't moved in years, you might be a redneck. I realized that we had 5 of those. Is that not normal? If you have appliances in your yard, you might be a redneck. We had a washer and dryer and a refrigerator in our yard.
I laughed my ass off to these as a kid.
If you got shacks in your yard, you might be a redneck. We had 3. If you live in a trailer next to a house, you might be a redneck. Well, of course we did. I looked around and painfully realized at that moment that I was living all of those things. That was the day that I found out that I, in fact, was a redneck. Our question, for better or for worse, what did you find out later in life? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Shane. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
All right, so I was texting yesterday, kind of giving you a little bit of a background on it.
Oh,
so
boy, I think I already know who you are.
I met my biological father on an airplane in El Paso, Texas.
All right. Now, I'm the one that texted you back and said, wait a minute, was this coincidence or was this on purpose? And you said it was purely coincidence.
Purely coincidence. So I was working out of town, and we finished work early. And I was able to catch an earlier flight to get home sooner. And so this was back when Southwest, I guess, had like open seating and stuff like that. So I got on. I was the last person to get on the plane. And, of course, the only 2 seats available are middle seats. So, you know, I'm scanning the 2 people that I could be sitting next to, and I'm like, you know, this guy looks like he's pretty decent. You know, I'll sit next to him. So I sat down, and I'm sitting there, and this guy keeps looking at me. And, you know, I figured he probably just wants to chat. And so finally I started chatting with him a little bit, and he says, you know, ask where I lived. And, I told him, you know, the city. And he goes, oh, I know where that's at. And anyways, and he says, your name's Shane. And then he says my last name, and I'm shocked.
Like, what are you thinking when somebody says
is this David Blaine? Like,
what's going through your head when someone, like, does it freak you out? Are you nervous? What?
I'm kind of shocked, but at the same time, I'm like, well, he knows my name, my first name at least.
I got to ask you this, though. Did you believe that you had a different biological father, or did you never know who your father was? What was the lead into this?
So there was always a possibility between 2 different guys. And
that's what your mom told you that?
Yes. My mom told me that there was 2 different guys. The guy that I knew that I was raised by, you know, I took his name, everything like that. And whenever he passed away, I just never wanted to see if I could find out if he truly was my dad or if it was this other guy, just because of the time frame between my mom and these 2 guys. And so I've always just been raised as my dad, as his son. So I met this, and he's like, yeah, my name's Scott. And I'm like, holy crap, this is the guy.
So you knew immediately that he was one of the other potential guys.
Yes.
Did he mention your mom's by name?
Oh yeah. No, he knew exactly who I was. Apparently, I had never seen pictures of him, but he had seen pictures of me because I guess my mom stayed in contact with him just over the years, and would send him pictures. And I'm looking at this guy. I'm like, holy, hey, this guy looks like me. Like we're like the same body style. Facial features look the same. I'm like, hey, this is crazy. So I kind of just became friends with him a little bit. We would chit-chat here and there, like on Facebook. And I finally told him about 5-6 years ago, I said, hey, look, you can take the test. I'll take the test. We'll know for sure. Nothing has to change. I don't want anything from you. I'm not looking for the father figure. I'm not looking for any of that stuff. But we'll know. And he said he'll do it on one condition, and that was nobody knows about it except for me and him.
And people listening to this show.
Exactly. All right. Well, and our 7 listeners.
Well, the great thing is none of my family lives here in this area, so they don't know any of this stuff.
Yeah, they can never hear it.
Right. So, anyways, we took the test, and it was a match.
Did you guys not know it on the plane? Did he not look at you and just go, look, man, I'm pretty sure I'm your dad?
He told me, he's like, I know I am. He goes, I just know. He goes, the time frame just works out. And he goes, just looking at you, I knew all these years. But to know for sure, he was pretty excited about it. And, now he's tried to, he's trying to reach out and, he tries to send stuff for my kids and everything. And, he's a really good dude. And he actually comes from money, and his whole family is very well off. And that's what I told him. I'm like, I don't want anything from you. I don't need anything, but, we can be friends.
I wonder why he did not want you to communicate that with that knowledge with anyone else. I wonder if it crossed over to his current wife, or if he had an affair with his wife that he's still married to now, or what the reason was to say, hey, please keep this to yourself.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I honestly, I don't know. But I know he has kids, which are, my half brothers and sisters, and, all of his family, which I don't know any of them. I just know him. So.
Well, that means probably if he's still married to that person that he had those siblings, that you're siblings with.
Yeah.
And they are still together. If you're the same age.
Yeah, he probably doesn't want, I get what he's saying for sure.
Exactly. God, that's wild.
The fact that you're the last person to get on a plane and the seat that you happen to pick is your biological father that you never met.
That's nuts.
What are man, play the lottery, bro.
For better or for worse, what did you find out later in life? 206-803-ROCK.
On Instacart, I can shop a huge selection of pet supplies, from that one brush that scratches him just right, to that extra comfy bed he can't wait to flop down in. And I get everything delivered right to my door in as fast as 1 hour. Okay, settle down. I know it's here. Yes, very exciting. Visit instacart.com or download the app to get a free delivery on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Minimum order $10. Additional terms apply. Instacart. Add life to cart.
Looking to give the gift of pleasure? Add a little high heat to keep the desire burning. Or maybe you just need a little self-care. Come to Lovers for the best lingerie and toys to keep things hot this holiday. Save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow Rewards. Just mention LOVE20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow Rewards membership until November 30th. Some exclusions apply.
Hey, it's Mike Hawk. Want more Men's Room content? Follow the Men's Room page of the Odyssey app and check out my live stream, A Moment with Mike Hawk and Nothing in Particular with Steve the Thrill Hill. Going live Thursdays and Fridays at 1, exclusively on the Men's Room page of the Odyssey app.
99.9 KISW. We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Our question, for better or for worse, what did you find out later in life? 206-803-ROCK. Couple more here. That birds don't live in nests. Just for rearing their young is the only time the birds are in their nests.
I did not know that until I read
learned
that
at the age of 72. I have a PhD in biophysics.
Jesus.
Never too late to learn, kids. Another. For most of my life, I assumed Neil Armstrong was a black man because I'd never seen Neil outside of his spacesuit. But I had seen Louis Armstrong. It never occurred to me that there would be anything unusual about a black astronaut.
The eagle is landing. We're on the moon. And looking back at the earth. There. There's one small step for me.
And as far as far as sisters go, until she was in her mid-20s, my sister believed that Mount Rushmore was a naturally occurring rock formation.
Oh, my God.
Until somewhere in her teen years, she thought earlier Americans had used Mount Rushmore to select presidents. She was very concerned that we'd used up all the good ones.
Jesus.
Till she found out otherwise.
God.
For better or for worse, what did you find out later in life? 206-803-ROCK.
The wind is powerful.
Yeah. I hope that was just met with 10 minutes of silence and you never broke eye contact. Hello, Nate. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola.
Yeah, so this story is about basically, I found out when I was about 30 years old that my grandfather was a member of the American Nazi Party.
Awesome. Boy, that had to be great news. Did you know your grandfather?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And looking back, were there any indication that maybe that's where his politics flowed?
Well, absolutely. So,
sure, of course. Of course. All the things.
Well, I used to go visit him. He lived in California. I used to go out there and visit for the summertime. And my grandpa had various, candlesticks, swastika and the eagle, around the home.
Okay, that's a good sign.
This is before, the History Channel, the internet, and it's, they don't really teach you that when you're, 8 years old. And so I remember specifically after one summer, I went back to Colorado where I lived, and it was art class, and it was free draw. And so I'm just hanging out, and I draw like a pretty awesome just tank, some spikes and flames. And then I just throw a huge swastika on the side of that thing and circle it, and I was just like, didn't think nothing of it. And I turned it in, and the teacher called me over and was like, so where did you learn about this? And I was like, well, my grandpa has, all this cool stuff. It's very striking, the red and the black. And, when and the teacher set me aside and was like, no, that's bad. And so she made me erase it. And then I drew it backwards, like for the Buddhism one. And,
still doesn't really fly. I mean, you're right, but most people are not tracking.
And then it was just, my dad had mentioned, it's something that they really didn't talk about. How when my dad was young, they got kicked out of the state of Arizona. And I guess the story was when my father was a kid, my grandpa dressed up in full Nazi regalia, armband, brown shirt, all that, and was handing out Nazi propaganda at the Arizona State Fair.
Jesus. Wow.
And then when they came back later that night, I guess their house was all ransacked and destroyed. And so they got picked up that night and fled to California. And that's where they lived for a long time. And then I did a little, it was still kind of weird. And I did a little research as I got older once things popped up on the internet. And this actually took place in Glendale, California. And because of all the microfiche and stuff is online nowadays, I got the full story. Him and just some dudes just really, were just really trying to start their own little political party out there. And it was something I never really talked to them about, but it's striking because they have photos of him on some newspaper articles, because I guess their little political party, got firebombed out there. It was in the news, and they were getting picketed.
I have a question for you. What was the...
That'll happen when you're pro-Nazi.
Yeah. What was the... was this just his ideology, or was he German? What's the root of this, do you believe?
I don't think he liked African Americans.
Nobody does. Jesus, I'm black. I can tell you right now, you don't have to be a Nazi, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
That's been my experience.
And the thing that was so...
I don't like Nazis, but I don't like you either, man. I mean, it's just built in.
Yeah, I don't, it was everyone else, and on that side of the family going back, they're just old-timey country folk, but it was so weird because to me, it was just, the stuff that went down in the paper that I read about, it was just like 15 years or so, like after World War II. And I showed by that time that I had figured out my grandpa had passed. It was something, that we never really talked about. But I had no idea besides, doing that little drawing when I was a kid. He was the nicest man to me.
To you.
And we used to go down and we spent a lot of time in Mexico, big fan of Hispanic people with, taught himself to speak Spanish in like 2 months. We spent tons of times down there.
I mean, look, I'm not trying to criticize his Nazism, but that's a poor Nazi. I mean,
I'm kind of surprised he'd go to Mexico.
Yeah, that's what was so strange. And when he passed away, we went out to his house, and there's like some Nazi squatters who like took over their house. And I guess my grandpa has like a little bit of him and like the main guy in Glendale, like they have like still to this day like a following. The guys are like, "Yay, Nazis!"
We had we had a weird one. Probably got a
wow, man.
It's probably.
I don't know. That sounds like part of American History X.
It really does.
It's almost like
20
years ago. So there was a Ku Klux Klan rally event. They were going to be in a parade, or maybe they're having their own parade. I can't remember if it was Chambersburg, Maryland, or York, Pennsylvania.
It was Pennsylvania. I remember
one of these little small towns. So I can't remember if they sent out a press release about this or whatever the deal is. But we decide that we're going to have Steve. He's going to interview the Grand Wizard or Dragon or whatever.
I don't remember which one he was.
He was the big guy. He was the main guy in the
Dragon.
chapter.
He was a wizard. He was somewhere up in that.
Yeah.
He was somewhere from Game of Thrones.
Yeah. But Steve's interviewing him. He's like, "Well, what kind of things are you going to have there for your?"
Oh, he didn't know I was a black dude, so I'm just playing along with his dumb
put
stuff.
the country slang on it, like, "Oh yeah, you're going to have a bouncy houses for the kids. There's going to be balloons." Oh yeah, we'll have all that. And what we found out at the end was they weren't that really ticked off about with the black community like I thought. They were more ticked off with the Jewish community.
Yeah, because I'm trying to goad him, and he's like, "Man, we don't care about black people. It's the Jews." I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Wow, okay, man, oh man.
I mean, it's not any better. We just didn't know.
We were thinking, like this will be perfect because
Oh yeah.
What better person to interview the Grand Wizard than Steve?
We should replay that sometime.
And all of a sudden, he's like, Steve was almost like kind of pissed off that it wasn't, him.
I know. Really, man?
Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah, he wasn't that shocked that Steve was black.
Right. Check out episode number 7 of The Greatest Story Never Told.
Oh, is it on there?
On the Odyssey app, as it were, yes.
Oh, on the
Episode
Odyssey
number
app,
7.
Steve. How about that? What do you know? We have an Odyssey app.
Came up with a very clever title for that one. Okay.
If you guys want to check it out, just do a little, Google, Glendale, California Nazis, and you'll find out. They're out there.
That's a proud family heritage you got there, man.
Yeah, but it's so shocking. It was, because I grew up in Boulder, Colorado, like peace and love and all that. Now I kind of figure out why my mom escaped from that family situation. But I got to run, boys.
All right, good talking to you, man. Thanks for the call.
You got to go to a rally. I'm kidding.
Exactly.
That's a tough one, too. You can't really explain to a 7 or 8 year old how bad that is.
It's a little heavy to drop on if you want to give them the full idea of what it's about. But man, that's got to be a weird one.
Here's a weird one. In autumn of 1971, a babysitter in Texas held a baby named Melissa, then 22 months old, while her parents were at work. The babysitter did not return later in the day as planned. Instead, the babysitter kidnapped the child.
Jesus.
So for the next 5 decades, this little girl's parents and siblings, they searched for her. Then in 2018, the family set up a Facebook page dedicated to finding her. They also took DNA ancestry tests in hopes their missing sister would do the same. So that approach actually worked. Just this year, a family member matched as a relative with one of Melissa's children through testing, the testing service 23andMe.
So Melissa's kid did it.
Melissa,
and that was the connection.
who was raised as Melanie, then reunited with her family, told reporters she was surprised to learn that she had been kidnapped as a baby and did not find that out until much, much later in life, into her 50s.
What do you think goes through your head? Because, she's 22 months old. She's not going to remember. All you know is that you had your mom. Maybe there was a dad in the picture, but you had your mom. I'm sure mom did the best she could to take care of you. That's all you know. And now you're in your 50s.
And you find out that that's not your mom, and you were kidnapped.
But you were kidnapped.
By the
not
woman
even put up for adoption.
who was your babysitter at the time.
And she raised him, right? Like, there's
The babysitter raised the child as her own, and that woman thought that the babysitter all that time was actually her mother, when in fact She kidnapped her.
That's one of those things I wonder sometimes. Like, if she's 55, like, does she need to know?
It's not that she needs to know, but if it's my kid, right? My daughter gets kidnapped, and I've not given up the search for her after 50. Granted, I'm 104 by the time I find her, but let's just say, for 50 years I'm looking for her, and it's not to ruin the life that my daughter has created for herself. One, I want to find out if she's still alive. Is she healthy? Because once you have a kid, right, you're stuck to him. It doesn't matter. You're going to love him. So, yeah, maybe, obviously, there's some upheaval in her life, but that's not your goal. It's like, as a parent, man, I want to know where my kid is. So I'm so happy you're alive. I'm glad you're doing well. I'm sorry you were kidnapped. I'm glad that you have your own family and all this. So I know this blows your mind out of the water to hear, but we're not here to devastate you. We're here basically to bring closure for us. Like, half the time, there'll be a murder, right? Someone won't confess, yes, I killed this person. But one thing I'm not going to do is tell you where I put the body. And that family will still spend the rest of their days.
I mean, look, I get why the family I'm just saying, like, I don't know, that's a tough one. If she's 55, like, that's going to throw her life into.
But did you resent your mom at this point? If your mom, that's the kidnapper. I'm not justifying anything, but, all you know is that your mom raised you. And let's say you had a decent life. I mean.
Okay, from a practical standpoint, I got my colonoscopy on Friday.
Yeah.
Before I did anything with a guy who was going to do the procedure, I had to do all the paperwork. Half of it was about me and my life. The other half was completely about my family and my family history. When I went to the anesthesiologist, she could have cared less about me and personally. She wanted to know every single thing about my family as far as any effects.
Right, any history of this, that, and the other.
So there is some practical reason that you need to have some of that knowledge instead of thinking that this woman who kidnapped you, she had breast cancer. Well, then you are at risk. We might have to do, blah, blah, blah.
Or
blah,
she
blah.
never had any kind of cancer, right?
I think that's the real practical reason, but you're right on the other side from just the social.
Yeah, for this woman, right, she has no idea. She only knows her mother, right? Like, at that point, like, if her mom's still alive, like, that would be crushing.
Yeah, it's
because now, like, it's like, do you hate your mom? But she did raise you. But now this other person, and who knows if her mother's still alive? I don't know. That's a weird one because she's 55. I feel like if this story, if she's 17, 18, you go, all right.
Right, 55. You better life.
But like at 55, I always got to look at that other family like, is it worth telling her?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean,
exactly.
It's just weird because she's 50. And you're both 100% right. I get why the family kept looking.
But there's no easy way to do it. Because I bet you they had the conversation. Do we tell her? Because now that you've gotten this information, like the person who reached out to us is probably, 18 to 23, because it was her daughter. You reach out to her, hey, is your mom still alive? Yeah, she's alive and kicking, doing great. And you kind of go like, hey, this is a real crazy story we have for you. You're actually our granddaughter.
For better or for worse, what did you find out later in life? 206-803-ROCK.
By the way, Miles, a few people checked in who have listened to the Klan interview from The Greatest Story Never Told. They enjoyed it.
All right.
Very few times do you hear that I enjoyed the interview with a Klan member. Hey, we work magic on this show.
You have no idea how hard it was to get that past the brass at the time, too.
Oh, my God. We
had to explain.
You can interview the Klan. Yeah, but they're not going to know.
This is satire. We're doing this as a joke.
I'm going to let you in on a secret.
We also want to find out some information about this group.
How'd that even get into your guys' lap? Like, do you reach out to them?
We reached out to them eventually because it was in press releases of people that are going to be in town doing things. Mm-hmm. That's the long and short of it.
And unfortunately, the Klan will go, I don't know that they've ever had a foothold out here, but, I mean, they will go and flyer your neighborhood.
Yeah.
And, like, right, if you've heard the interview, that guy's like, it's a family event. We just got to educate people on how to hate.
Yeah, so
it's a parade, man.
So when we had to run it by the brass, they were worried we're going to make it confrontational. And I said, listen, man, I'm going to let you in on a secret that I believe. I don't believe that members of the Klan are intellectual heavyweights. I think that's the nice way to put it. I know the guy's an idiot. That's why he's in the Klan. So we're going to put this dumbass on. We're not going to confront him. I'm not going to change his opinion. I'm not trying to change his opinion. What we're going to do is make him look stupid because everyone listening to the show, they're in on the joke. So we had a blast interviewing this guy.
We're going to have him.
And turns out I knew more about the goddamn Klan than he did.
We're going to have
some historical
We're going to have a macadamia nut stand. We're going to have...
Like, for me, it behooved me to do some research on exactly what they were. And when I talked to the guy, I was stunned at what he didn't know about his own organization. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, you can't even represent hate well. Like, how goddamn stupid are you, you know?
It was definitely an interesting interview.
It was.
At the end of it, you're like, wow, I had no, I mean, I had an idea, but I didn't have
I don't know, was that dumb?
Yeah. For better or for worse, what did you find out later in life? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Jason. Welcome to the men's room.
All right. Got you guys on the line. Cool. Nice to meet you guys, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you for calling. We appreciate it.
Hey, Hakuna Matata, my friend.
Okay.
I'm going to pull over here. I'm on a country road here, so I'm going to pull over and block somebody's driveway. Oh, here's a good one.
Okay.
Here's a good one.
Here's a good one. There's one of those package thieves.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, I'm going to shut everything down. All right, I'm in a safe spot. How you guys doing, man?
We're doing great, dude.
All right, man. So I'm going to share this story with you guys. Me and my brother, we were in. I was in probably kindergarten. He was probably in third grade. We were at Stanaway Speedway. You guys remember that place?
I've heard of it. I have not been there.
Yeah, I think it's closed down. I was probably in the
That's probably why I haven't been there.
Yeah. Copy that. Well, we were there with our family. My mom, my stepdad's there. And they're announcing the racers, and they're getting ready to take off. And we picked our racers, you know, that we wanted to win. Well, my brother, he picked this guy, and he won. This guy did the victory circle with these chicks in bikinis, big trophy. Went home, and he picked up the book from the place. So what happened was about a year later, my mom comes home drunk. And she walked right in the door like she knew what she was going to do. And she told my brother, she says, go get your Stanaway Speedway book. And he brings it out. And she whips up a Budweiser can into a pop can pipe, and she's going to break the news that the guy that won that day, which was on the front page on the inside of this book, was his dad. And she totally made him smoke a bowl of weed with him at 13 years old. And I was thinking that I was going to get in on it too, and I almost got slapped because I was moving in on it, you know, for my turn.
So no, wait.
Almost got slapped.
So was this guy both of your biological fathers or just your brother's biological?
No, your dad came in last place.
Right, yeah. The funny thing is a friend of mine whose mom went to Puyallup High School looked up his name and found my dad standing next to his dad like buddies with goofy looks on their faces and all that. It was priceless when I saw this picture. It was awesome.
Well, I guess your parents weren't married at that time, right?
No.
Now, did your brother think he had a different biological dad, or he just did not know who it was?
You know, he didn't know who it was.
Okay.
I'm thinking that he was assuming his dad was my dad, but wasn't the case. And my mom just came home. She just came home like she couldn't wait any longer. She just came and she had some drinks in her, and she busted open. She drained her Budweiser can, made it into a pop can pipe, and got him stoned on the spot while she told him. It was awesome.
It was awesome.
That is some true family bonding right there.
That's awesome.
Get him stoned and then be like, hey, you know that guy? It's your dad.
That's your dad, your real one. That's that you should know.
Oh, my.
Can I grab anyone else a bud?
For better or for worse, what did you find out later on in life? 206-803-ROCK.
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Dealing with an accident and injury claim can be overwhelming. Let Phillips Law Firm fight for you. We understand the pain and suffering, and we're here to guide you through. Call 1-800-JUSTICE today for a free case review, or visit justiceforyou.com and let Phillips Law Firm help you on the road to recovery.
From the very beginning, your kids mean everything to you. That means you do anything for them, especially if they're at risk. So when it comes to type 1 diabetes, screen it like you mean it. Because even if just one person in the family has it, your child is up to 15 times more likely to get it too. Screen it like you mean it. Because type 1 diabetes can develop at any age. And once you get results, you can get prepared for your child's future. So screen it like you mean it. Type 1 starts long before there are symptoms. But one blood test could help you spot it early, before they need insulin, and could lower the risk of serious complications like diabetic ketoacidosis or DKA. Talk to your doctor about how to screen for type 1 diabetes. Because the more you know, the more you can do. So don't wait. Tap now or visit screenfortype1.com to learn more. Again, that's screenfortype1.com. Screen it like you mean it.
I'm about to call out the two most dreaded words for new dentists: student debt.
I have upwards of $400,000 in loans.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen upon graduation?
Dental Soundbites.
Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
99.9 KISW. The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill.
Lovely Taryn Daily Code Up will sit and spin as we get set for Halloween. 10 songs from Ozzy Osbourne's Halloween playlist coming up right after emails and our question for better or worse. What did you find out later in life? 206-803-ROCK. Couple more. It wasn't until I was 21 when I drank lactose-free milk for the very first time and didn't go sit on the toilet for an hour afterward that I realized that I am lactose intolerant. I thought it was normal to S constantly after drinking milk.
Yes, if you're lactose intolerant.
Speaking of S-ing a lot. That you can flush used toilet paper. Growing up, my parents taught us to throw the toilet paper in the trash so it would not back up the toilet. It was not until I got to college that I realized my parents did that because they had SE plumbing where we grew up in Central America, and the people in the United States don't do this as well.
Yeah, you had that experience of what? Mexico? Like some island off of Mexico?
Oh, well, they told us right away, but I was still freaked out. It's so weird to drop it into a waste paper basket. It's the most unnatural. It took minutes for me to drop the
soiled toilet paper into a trash can.
Into a trash can.
Yeah, it just seems gross.
And one more.
It is.
Right, I mean, right, we're so used to having flushable toilets. Right. It's just like, oh.
Guys, I was watching Titanic with some friends. This reminds me of your buddy's old girlfriend when she got the fortune cookie.
Oh, yeah.
And there were some lottery numbers on there. And
right, they always have numbers.
Yeah.
Right, she opened it and said, numbers again.
For her fortune, yes.
It's right, just like,
Mike, you had to
flip
meet this
it over.
You had to meet her.
She meant no harm.
No, she didn't.
None at all. Sweetest person
She
ever.
didn't know to flip it over?
No, Mike.
Dude,
no.
I can't
She
explain.
was like 22.
And I don't remember the full conversation I had with her. The first time I met her, we're at a bar, all right, and she smoked weed, I smoke weed. So she's like, hey, do you want to go out to the Jeep, smoke a joint? I look at Ted. Ted's like, no, please do, right? Okay. I don't remember our conversation. We walked back in like 10 minutes later. She's good looking, yeah. And I'm kind of looking at Ted like, look, either, and I mean this honestly, she is the funniest person I have ever met in my life, like nonstop humor, or she is the dumbest person. Ted's like, dumb.
Do I know the guy that she was dating?
You don't. Okay. Oh, you don't, no.
So here's one on that same tip. Yes. I was watching Titanic with some friends when it comes to the part where, spoiler alert, the ship starts to sink. They show a picture of an old couple who are just laying down in bed together.
Yeah.
And they've come to their fate. My friend, let's call her Amy, goes, why don't they just go to sleep? Well, there's a pause as everyone looks baffled before Amy explains that you don't breathe while you're asleep so you can't drown. Amy was 21 and was getting ready to graduate from our university.
Oh, my God.
Our question, for better or for worse, what did you find out later in life? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Drew. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
Hola.
All right, so I learned that I could have kids.
Why did you think you couldn't?
High school. So, as a kid, I had childhood cancer, so they told me there was a very strong likelihood that I wouldn't be able to have kids.
All right.
And had friends with benefits after high school with the chick, and found out that was not the case.
Oh. How many times did you find that out over the years?
Well, we have 2 kids, and we'll be married for 15 years here in November. So,
all right.
Well,
that ends well.
So was she as surprised as you? Because I'm assuming, did you have the conversation with her beforehand? Like, hey, man, I had childhood cancer, real low probability.
Yeah, exactly. She was on birth control. She also had an ovary taken out because she had an ovarian cyst, so she only had one ovary. So we, just assumed, there's no shot. No, this is going to work out. So, went on with life, got stoned one night, and, yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. The type of cancer, was it the treatment that you received that was the reason they believed that you wouldn't be able to have children, or did you have testicular cancer, or was it just the fact that you went through chemo? Oh, it was the chemo.
Yeah, went through chemo, and they said, probably won't be able to have kids.
Did you call the doctors back and say, hey, man, just a quick update? Yeah, I can. It's all working out. So, were you guys...
No, but my mom sure believed it wasn't mine.
So, oh, God. How long did it take you to convince your mom? I understand that. To say, Mom, look, I'm functional. It works. This is my kid.
Yeah. Funny part, still a little scars over this one, but my mom made me go and get a paternity test, even though the kid looked identical. I mean, in the ultrasounds, you could see the kid looked exactly like me. Same nose, same everything. And
did she not want it to be
100% sure?
Same umbilical cord.
So did she want to be 100% sure, or did she not like the woman you're with?
100% sure. She didn't know her very well. Like I said, just friends with benefits.
Okay.
And, yeah.
So look, here's the thing, and this is a serious question, okay? So I knew I could have kids, and then even when we were, quote-unquote, trying to have kids, and my wife said, hey, I'm pregnant, there's still the, oh, my God, what have we done moment, right? Because, I mean, it's a lot you're about to take on. But in your case, thinking like, I can't have kids, she tells you that she's had an ovary removed, you're thinking, all right, man, this isn't going to happen. Are you overwhelmed with joy, overwhelmed with fear, or, like, what's the reaction when she says, man, I'm pregnant and this is your kid?
Oh, no.
That's the same thing everybody thinks.
I thought it, and we were trying, and I thought that.
It's the one time in life where a man can honestly earn an Academy Award for his reaction on certain things.
Oh, sure.
My first one, I was like, oh, wow. Is that really? Wow.
Yeah.
Instead of in my mind, I'm thinking,
in your mind.
Now my second kid, I lost it.
Really?
I lost it.
I laughed. I was like, yeah, whatever, man.
Because I was still spending time in a hospital with my first one.
Oh, right.
Everything was just kind of upside down. And when she told me that, I was just like, I screamed the F word. I think I walked around the block for like 20 minutes just like, oh, my God. Like, how in the hell?
You know how.
One's hard enough.
When two people maybe love each other.
Right.
So how old are your kids? Yeah. How old are your kids now?
My son is 17 and my daughter is 12.
Okay, so based on your guys' health history, did any of that travel to them, or have they been reasonably healthy?
Oh, no, they've been healthy. Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
All right, good on you, man.
Oh, let me ask you a question about your cancer. Since it was childhood cancer, now do you still need to go in like on a regular basis and get checked to make sure that doesn't return?
I'm supposed to. So usually it's been like every 5 years, but my wife, funny enough, spent like 9 years working in cancer treatment after all this, and so she's hard on me about trying to get in there more often. But
I think it'd probably be a pretty good idea.
I just don't like the doctor, like every other guy out there, I feel like. But, yeah.
And you have a history with them where they seldom gave you good news. But it's still worth doing. I know you know that. And I'm sure your wife will pick up the slack, give you all the grief you need.
Okay.
100%.
I mean, I think it's a little different when you know something, you've had something.
You really have to steel yourself to get what reasonably could be the news.
Yeah.
You know, the rest of us would be blindsided with him and be like, this is what I was worried about. I don't want to hear this.
Yeah, and I feel like most people like almost refuse to go to the doctors, especially dudes.
Mm-hmm.
But like once you get to your late 30s, 40, like you got to start getting physicals. And then there's other stuff you got to check up on.
Just track the TV commercials. You know, there's a time when you're younger, and look, they advertise for everything, even non-existent crap, right? But at some point, they start throwing out the age that this is of more interest to you. And I swear, right when you hit around 40, you're like, apparently anything that can go wrong in my life physically begins right about now.
You got to the doctor yet, Steve?
I mean, like maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Well, when you go, here's the thing that I've learned: it's one doctor's trip is not enough. So when you just go to get your physical, so after my physical, you need to go back to your skin doctor again and have these things looked at. Okay, you need to go to another doctor and get a colonoscopy. Okay,
then they bring up specialist.
So I'm going, I get one done, I check that one off the list, and then the right thing to do is you need to get back in here. You need to get your booster shot. You should probably get a flu shot. There's just this. I've got this website that constantly tells me all the things that I need to do.
Just say you're going to die.
And they call me, and then they email me, and then they just hound my ass to the point of like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
I got to do it Friday. But it's not like a doctor's appointment. It's just he's like, here, you got to pass. Just go in and get your blood work.
But I feel like
I don't have to talk to you.
But going to the doctor now is like taking your car into the shop. You took your car into the shop because one thing is wrong. As far as there's one thing wrong. When they're done looking at your car, they tell you 15 things that are wrong. Mm-hmm. Right? And these are the order that you should get these things replaced. Same as going to the doctor. Well, overall, you're healthy. but here's a note to go see this person just in case. Like, cool.
Yep.
Right, okay.
For better or for worse, what did you find out later in life? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Julia. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, hola.
Hola.
I'm 49, and 2 years ago, my father finally told me that he was a member of the Mongols and was at war for, 20 years of my, from 20 to 2040, was warring with the Hells Angels, and he would go out at night and they would wreak havoc. I thank God my mother protected us, but I always found the guys interesting that hung out with us. I mean, definitely very biker. Like I had a salty growing up, but I had no idea it was the Mongols that we were dealing with. And especially in LA with the big conventions, my dad would take us, and it just seemed like a very family affair. But it wasn't until a couple of years ago that my dad finally admitted that that was the group we were hanging out with.
Did it explain a lot to you about your childhood, or was it a complete shock?
It explained a lot, because there was a couple times where I was home alone with my younger siblings, and biker guys were, coming and banging on the door. And of course, our parents, this was the 80s, always told us not to answer the door, and those guys were relentless. And come to find out, it was Hell's Angels trying to get into the house. It was really crazy. It pulled everything together, let's just say.
So is it almost a relief?
I'm 47. You're finally letting me know this stuff.
Is it kind of a relief to hear this going, okay, you just made sense of my childhood? Or was it more stressful?
No, completely. It was completely.
Right.
But, I mean, I will say, just like any other group, it was very family-oriented. I just found, Uncle John and, everyone was an uncle, and we just hung out and had picnics, and I thought they were great. They were so fun, and I get to go and ride on their motorcycles, and, it was a blast to me. But when my dad got out of the group, luckily, safely, I just was really shocked when he finally started to tell us about, a couple of his friends that I had met, they were gunned down, and the war was real between the Mongols and the Hells Angels. And
yeah, it's one of the most famous ones.
I'm sorry, what?
I was like, it's one of the most famous ones. I just watched a special on it the other day. But I would also say, in your defense, they did start out as clubs. They're called motorcycle clubs.
Right.
So, I mean, a lot of those people, right, it is not only a sense of family, that's why they're so loyal.
Yeah. I do know. I had a very not similar experience, but some strange things going on when I was growing up that I didn't understand. Why we moved to Detroit, why we did all these different things when I was a kid,
right?
And my stepfather's uncle, who was my uncle as well, Uncle Rudy, he put my stepfather through law school. Now, part of the deal was that if he put him through law school, then we were going to move to Detroit and represent my uncle, who was in the concrete and construction business.
Yeah,
all right?
Yeah.
But he also lived in a huge house in Bloomfield Hills, which is a kind of an affluent area outside of Detroit. So Uncle Rudy had one of the biggest houses in that neighborhood. Uncle Rudy lived beside a guy named Lee Iacocca, who at the time was the guy in charge of Chrysler.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Brought him back.
Down the street was the guy who ran Ford, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They all lived in this neighborhood. They all played golf at Oakland Hills, I believe is the name of the golf course. Either way, they're country club people. My Uncle Rudy, when we moved back to West Virginia after my stepfather's time doing some work was done.
Some pro bono work.
I mean, our house was painted by a couple guys who just got out of prison who owed my Uncle Rudy some favors. Anything that was done from bricklaying to the construction of our home to...
But to you, it's just normal, right?
It was completely normal that these guys were living in our home, and my mom would have to do things like clear out the liquor cabinet because one of the guys was coming down had a bad drinking problem, just got out of prison, and you don't want to have any alcohol in your home. You don't want to have any cooking wine. You don't want to have any sherry. You don't want to have any, this is mouthwash, all these things I can remember her taking.
Hand soap.
Taking out of the house. And these guys were there for a couple of weeks. They were the nicest guys in the world to me. They wanted to go out and throw baseball when they were done. They wanted to play basketball next door. They wanted to do all the stuff. They were happy not to be in jail. They were happy to be in our house.
That effect goes a long way.
And painting. They were, taking, hey, man, this is great. We fed them. They sat at our table and all those things. And you get a little older and you're like, so everybody just doesn't work on a barter system.
Right.
Because everything in my world worked on a barter system growing up as far as legal work.
How old were you when you pieced it together?
It's a big Italian family. Everybody does something. And everybody has somebody who knows somebody. And you would never go outside of that family for anything, for home insurance, for buying a car. You're going to go to Claudio's Nissan. You're not going to like Jet Ford. You're going
unless Jet's part of the family.
Unless it's Jet Oliverio,
right? Jet Oliverio.
That's just the way it worked.
Sure.
Every pizza parlor, every place that we would go to. He never wanted to pick up Chinese food because he didn't know the people. We couldn't go to the Indian restaurant because
I don't know them.
I don't know them. Like
I don't know a lot of people in a lot of restaurants, but they got the food I want, man.
Exactly. I mean, I knew that I could get free passes to the putt-putt golf and go-kart track because my stepfather did work for that guy, knew him from the family.
Right.
So I could get tokens. I could get all these different things. But it was never just me, like, I couldn't just take my money someplace. It was always go someplace where we know somebody because this is going to make, your dollar go farther kind of a thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, basically to the point where, somebody would pat you on the back and say, like, pizza's on the house, still Dan, we said hi, that kind of stuff. We're like, okay, this is great. This is awesome. Thank you.
It's a great life to live.
You're like, Dad, you owe Al money. For what? We got 2 pizzas today. Oh, yeah, I'll take care of it.
Yeah, I got that.
Don't worry about that. And
that's all he said, right?
And that's the kind of way it went down, man. For better or for worse, what did you find out later in life? 206-803-ROCK.
Here's a quick text before we get back to the phone. It says, when I turned 30, my mom told me that whenever she would fart in bed, she would service my dad to make up for it. That's a weird one. I'd be like, Mom,
he's hoping for beans for dinner.
Like, Mom, you can tell me anything other than that, and it would be better news to me. Oh, you killed 3 men? Cool. You service dad every time you farted in bed?
Yeah, I'm with Miles. We're having refried beans, black beans.
Night.
We would order
Mexican.
We
had for breakfast?
Milk.
Greek yogurt.
You're drinking
stuff.
You're drinking milk for dinner.
Greek yogurt, man. That'll get it done.
That one that got that antibac, whatever.
Yeah.
What's the one that Jamie Lee Curtis?
Activia.
Mm-hmm. Man, eat 6 of these. I want a good thing tonight.
Mm-hmm. You're going to have salad and milk.
Hello, Mark. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
So, this happened about 5 years ago, just after my son was born. Actually, about 4 years ago. So I bought a 23andMe kit because it was cheap on the Amazon days or whatever. So I filled it out because I want to see how much of a mutt I am. My mom's Caucasian. My dad's a mutt. I did it all. It was kind of neat to see all the percentages if you guys did that.
I haven't done it yet.
I haven't done it either.
Something I want to do.
You should do. I'm actually 12% West African. So I was like, whoa.
What's up, my brother?
They're like, can you drop the N-bomb? I'm like, no.
What percentage do you need to be able to do that?
98.5.
Exactly. I'm going Hispanic. One second. I got to order this food for my son real fast.
Yeah, go ahead. What are you getting?
Okay. A biggie bag. Wendy's.
Ooh.
Oh. I like how he's just like biggie bag. Wendy's.
Get us some chicken nuggets.
Hello?
Come on. Frosty.
May I please get a 5 for $5 biggie bag? Double stack, ranch, and a bottle of water, please.
A bottle of water?
Yeah, everything was good to the water. Get a Frosty.
Come on.
Frosty, man. Frosty.
Thank you.
Get a Frosty.
No, he's got some cavities, so he's been waking up, and he's like, my teeth hurt. And now I tell him, like, there's sugar bugs on this stuff. So he's like, get me water.
Sugar bugs. Okay. All right.
Look, if he wants to drink water, let him drink the water.
So anyway, my son, he's about 1, and I was like, okay, let me buy another kit. So I bought 2 kits, one for my wife, who's pure Caucasian, white as hell. And then my son, I got one.
White as hell.
Is that what I said? Is that what the results came back? White as hell.
Exactly.
Iceland.
They send her a jar of mayo. Just
here.
So my son, the way this works is you got to spit in like this little thing, like a little vial.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he was like 1.5. He couldn't do it. My brother came down with his girlfriend or wife. He's a little bit older than me. I'm 42 now. So this happened about 4 years ago. Anyways, I'm like, hey, take this, let's see what you got. Like, we're both pretty mixed. We've been living as siblings for years. Then, like, he goes back to Albuquerque. I probably should have said that. But anyway, he goes back. He fills it out, puts it in, and then he texts me. He's like, yo, check it. Go online right now and see what it does. I was like, okay. So I went online, and it showed that we're actually half-brothers. This entire time, we've been living as full brothers with our... Yeah, exactly. So we're just like, wait, what? And the funniest part about this is his half-sister was on 23andMe as well. So it indicated, like, hey, here's your half-sister, here's your half-brother. You're able to message those people. So instead of sending some, like, nice message, like, excuse me, my name is this, blah, 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 he sends it off like, hey, sis, what was your dad doing, like, back in 1978 around this month and blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, you don't still call someone sis that you've never met before. But anyway, it ends up he was a neighbor at the apartment where my parents were living at. They were married at the time. My dad would go to work. And
so would your mom.
Exactly. Yep. So apparently the neighbor came in and decided to deposit some things.
Wow. What did you find out your ancestry was? Because you said you were a lot of different things.
Horny.
It was 20. If you get the 23andMe kit, it kind of like breaks it down to like all your percentages of what you are technically. Because I'm technically about 68% European Caucasian. But then again,
3% bovine.
And the percentages get better with more people that pay the money to.
Okay.
All right. So it adjusts over time, so it keeps adjusting.
All right.
But what they can tell right away is whether you're a sibling or not. Like, whoa, we didn't tell our dad because that's still our dad. But he got in contact with that half sister, who got in contact with her dad to let him know, hey, you have a half son walking around here who's like 41.
You know what, man? Maybe I don't want to do 23andMe anymore.
Exactly. Hey.
My life is falling apart.
I thought I paid enough child support.
Oh, my God.
Damn it. Yeah. I'm not positive this is great info for some of these people. Like, you're an adult. You made it. You like the family you have.
Right.
Oh, boy. Tara Daly's coming up. She's part of the family. We're going to sit and spin. We've got 10 songs from Ozzy Osbourne's Halloween playlist. And your emails coming up next from the men's room at KISW.com.
Therapy is known to be extremely helpful. But have you ever tried eavesdropping on someone else's problems? Listen to the new podcast, Say More with Dr. Sheila, starring Amy Poehler as the world-renowned self-proclaimed couples therapist.
My mother will come over when she says she will. Knowing that she's always going to be there is really nice for me because I don't have to make my own cereal.
Listen to Say More with Dr. Sheila on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
When things feel a bit chaotic, Instacart helps deliver milk and sausage. Add a little life to your cart. Get stuff from literally all your stores, from baby wipes to albacore. Add a little life to your cart. Instacart helps get your groceries. Your first 3 deliveries are free.
Download Instacart. Add life to cart. Terms apply.
Looking to give the gift of pleasure? Add a little high heat to keep the desire burning. Or maybe you just need a little self-care. Come to Lovers for the best lingerie and toys to keep things hot this holiday. Save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow Rewards. Just mention Love20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow Rewards membership until November 30th. Some exclusions apply.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9. KISW.
Mother Tara Daly on the way. We're going to sit and spin 10 songs from Ozzy Osbourne's Halloween playlist. No way. But first time for a few emails from the men's room at KISW.com.
You've got mail. You've got mail.
And a couple on our question, what'd you find out later on in life? Ola, one thing I learned that changed my view on my pious and unassuming grandpa. He was a part of the Norwegian resistance to the Nazi invasion. Whenever I tried to ask him more about it, he got quiet. So there may have been some stuff that he'd rather forget.
Sure.
Oh, and my mom called the police because she found a spider in her closet. That might have been a slight overreaction. Looking forward to Live Day, guys. That from Terry. Guys, as we approach Halloween, I've got a scary story. I found out at age 40 that my dad was not my real dad thanks to Ancestry.com. Total shocker.
Ruining families for 20 years.
What really got me was learning that a couple of people I was friends with in high school, actually my first cousins, one of whom was a female my age. Yikes. Told my mom she's lucky her dirty little secret didn't land her some wall-eyed, web-footed baby Ruth-eating grandchildren. That from Irish. As we move on to the birthday show.
Baby Ruth eating, okay.
Guys, today is my little Ella's 6th birthday. She is all kind of jazzed up to hear you guys wish her a happy birthday. So can you give her a cat fart? And Mike with a 6-gun salute of his choice. Maybe Coach Ted telling him how proud Mom and Dad are of her. And her drive to be the best gymnast.
All right.
Thanks, guys, for all you do to everyone's to make everyone's day just a little bit better. Lots of love, that from Mom and from Dad.
Oh, my God. You could have blown out your candles with that.
You probably could have, yeah.
Drop the beat. A script is a story. It's not a storybook.
Uh-oh, look out. Please clap.
All right. 6 years old. Sounds like you're tumbling into the future, kid. First of all, look. It's time for you to hear the truth. Your parents took you. They didn't know what to do with you when you were smaller. They had to get some energy out. Now it sounds like you're taking it upon yourself to be a champion. It started with tumbling. You know what it ends in tonight? Pizza, hamburger, and a tumbler of Sprite.
Ooh, I like a tumbler. Just a tumbler.
And don't ask your parents what a tumbler is.
Give me 2 fingers of Sprite.
Guys,
And a shot of root beer.
Happiest of birthdays to my partner in crime, Miles. Probably a great guy in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Goodness.
I'm sure it said that.
Yeah. I love you lots. Hope you have an amazing birthday and the rest of your day. I appreciate you. How about a dealer's choice for Mike and everyone talking all over each other about drums? Thanks, guys. That from Therese.
Happy Chinooka.
Let's see drums.
Huh?
I know drummers, they die all the time.
love drums.
So if you have a band, you're going to go through all the drummers or any other guy that is in the band.
I'm so tired of helping you carry all your freaking equipment, and it's so heavy, man. Let me just come on. Why do you need so many pieces?
Hold on, gentlemen. I'd like to put a birthday shout out to my smoking hot wife, Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
Who is due to deploy soon and celebrating her 7th anniversary on her 29th birthday. How about a couple of thrill shotgun gets? Some words of wisdom from Miles and the dirty Germans talking about what these 2 sailors are going to do to celebrate her birthday tonight. Love the show, fellas. That from Mark in Oak Harbor. Get. Okay. All right, you 2 sailors. Sarah, I got you a sailor joke.
Oh, sailor jokes.
Yeah. A sailor who'd been dropped out to sea for 2 months stops at a brothel. He walks straight up to the madam, drops $500 down and says, I want your ugliest woman and a grilled cheese sandwich. Madam is astonished. But sir, for that kind of money, you could have one of my prettiest ladies and a 3-course meal. The sailor replies, listen, I'm not horny. I'm just homesick.
Yeah, tonight you'll find out from these 2 sailors why they call them seamen.
Yeah, you know what? Before you ship off, you better get your husband's men all aboard.
Yeah.
Guys, today's my son Austin's birthday. He is 30 years old, the dirty one. I would love a Suck It Up cupcake and the dirty Germans talking about some dirty 30 stuff. Thank you, guys. That from Carol.
So, suck it up, cupcake!
Yeah, we have a saying back in the motherland known as Deutschland. When you turn 30, get squirty till it hurty.
Yeah, there's a saying behind that is just make sure you bring the towel. Either for you or the partner.
Patellas want to send a birthday shout out to my good friend Heidi. Can she get a pat, say Jack? A little inspirational wisdom from Miles. And since she's turning 49, maybe the dirty Germans can tell her how they plan to 49 with her tonight. Thanks, guys. That is from Brett.
She wants a D, and she's going to get one.
Okay. I tried to find a joke with 49.
All right. Okay. Last night's game.
So here's a joke with 49 in it, other than the 49ers. 48, 49, and 50 were all in a race.
All right.
51.
Yeah, I do not believe that your name is Heidi. I just get the feeling when someone opens the pants, you go, Heidi.
Yeah, it's so seems to say this, even though the German brought it up, but it's pretty easy. Just go out and suck, like the real Niners do.
Wow. Yeah. All right, guys, here you go. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you.
Ya's a Dirty Germans brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's World Famous Sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefleisch.
Yes, friends, it's time once again for Sit and Spin. Let's gather around the old radio and listen to some swellerific new music.
We beam our satellites north and head down on the farm for the lovely Taryn Daly. Are you in the chicken shack or whatever you call that thing?
It's the pump house.
The pump. Oh wow.
The pump house. Yes, anyone that has a well knows what I'm talking about.
I thought that's where you and Brad made babies.
Exactly.
My bad.
I know. You got one. Don't do anything crazy to get two.
Also a great bar in Bellevue.
This is very exciting. We carpeted the pump house.
No
and
way.
It is so great. It is cozier than ever in here.
Does that mean warmer?
No, that just means
it is definitely warmer. There's a baseboard heater, and now it's warmer. We have carpet.
And it's been the topic of many a conversation.
Right, to getting the carpet in the pump house?
Just their excitement level. They're both. Have you seen the pump house? Have you heard about the pump house? I'm like, yes, she told me about the pump house.
Mm-hmm. Does it smell like the pump house?
It doesn't actually. It smells like nothing, really. I mean, now it smells like new carpet, but it just smells like nothing.
Well, it must be nice to have new carpet in your pump house, I think. So is that a separate...
That is not a quote I thought I would hear
So do
today.
you have to walk out in your farm backyard and you go to the pump house and then that's where you broadcast from?
Yep, I put on my S kickers. I walk out to the pump house across the yard, and then I make radio magic with you guys.
Did you get your new on-air light set up in the pump house?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have
I did!
Did you really? Oh, nice. You have to
She's got
turn
her
on light.
It's so exciting.
Do people not walk in then because that light is on like they should?
I mean, I'm hoping that my child respects it. Like, the
He
light is
won't.
on, you stay out.
He will not. No, I think that's great. I know you were excited about getting the on-air light in your own home pump house, as it were.
All right, so Taryn, what is little baby B there going to be for Halloween?
Oh, he's going to be Rubble from Paw Patrol.
Rubble. I don't know if I know Rubble.
I know
Rubble is
Rubble.
the construction dog.
Yeah. Isn't he a bulldog?
Yes, he's a bulldog. He's actually probably the best of the Paw
No, he's
Patrollers in my personal opinion. I just really like Rubble.
No,
he seems
Taryn,
like a
none
good
of them
dude.
are.
He's always got snacks.
They're all good dudes.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's
they
a
are all
cute
very good
dog.
dudes.
Oh, he's a very
But
cute
Rubble
dog.
always has snacks, and that's why I'm going to kick it with Rubble for sure.
All I would say about, I can't remember the name of the city they live in, but when you have turned over all of your law enforcement to puppies, you need help. That's all. That's all
Are you
I'm
talking
saying.
about? You must be talking about Adventure Bay, Thrill.
Adventure Bay, yes. I remember it now.
My buddy's wife made him get one of those kinds of dogs and named it Rubble.
Oh my God!
Yes,
Taryn, you've
I respect
inspired me.
I think she
dedication.
likes it more than the three boys.
Taryn, I think I'd do better off in my life if I got a pump house. That is one thing.
You
I
should
think.
get a pump house.
I need a
Everyone should
pump
have
house.
one.
That would be fun. I would be in there all the time
Alone.
especially with the new carpet or the hardwood flooring, whatever's there. All right, let's see here. It's kind of cool when you get a chance to put together your own playlist. Either back in the day,
Midterm radio. We have that.
you make a mixtape, or if someone say like, hey man, put together the 10 best songs that you think are good for lovemaking, or your 10 favorite country songs, or whatever it is.
Lick it up.
It's harder than you think to put that stuff together.
Ooh, that smell.
As far as, trying to think like, okay, I want to make this really good. But to Ozzy Osbourne, he has a Halloween playlist, which seems apropos for the Prince of Darkness.
Totally.
So, in honor of almost Halloween and the Paw Patrol, I guess as it is.
Yes, in honor of Paw Patrol, Miles. Thank you.
These are some of the selections from Ozzy Osbourne's Halloween playlist.
Number 10.
All right. Got Devil in there.
Yeah, Devil's in the title. You got to go with Van Halen. Although they do seem like the least Halloween-y band of all time. You know what I'm saying? Like, Van Halen just seems pretty wholesome for the most part.
I don't know that wholesome is the word.
They're running with the devil, Taryn.
I wouldn't say
You know
they're
what I mean? Like they're partying, they're having a good time. I don't know that they're like really
fun.
summoning the devil.
But they look like guys whose genitalia smells like Fritos. I mean, let's be awesome, right? I mean, that's... I don't know if that's right.
I wouldn't call them dark and brooding. I would not call them...
Exactly. They're not moody. They're not broody. It's a good time. It's a party.
So you would expect more Grim Reaper, See You in Hell, or something like that, I guess.
Nope.
That's kind of what I was hoping for.
I can see Ozzy jamming out to this. All right.
These are 10 songs from Ozzy's Halloween playlist.
Number 9.
All right, here's this one.
This is one of my favorite songs of all time.
Same. I'm a massive Warren Zevon fan, and apparently Phil Everly almost kind of challenged him to write this song based on the 1935 film Werewolf of London. So he wrote it, and honestly, it was kind of a joke, and then it ended up being his biggest song.
Well, so wait, did he write it for American Werewolf in London, or did he write the song and they used it? Or do you know?
He wrote, the movie came out in 1935, so that was a little bit before his musical time. But then but he wrote this basically inspired by the movie as a challenge from Phil Everly of the Everly Brothers.
But Taryn, as a Warren Zevon fanatic there, that you know that if you really want to get scared, listen to Excitable Boy.
Oh my God, that one is pretty terrifying.
That is
also the B-side.
Twisted.
The B-side to Werewolves of London is Roland the Headless Thompson Gunner, which is also a little creepy.
Was a warrior. That is some
Yes.
Yeah. That whole album is a little bit dark.
I thought it was the Vampires of Istanbul, but I got that wrong.
10 songs from Ozzy's Halloween playlist.
Number 8. See how high she flies.
And I think when they say high, they're talking about absinthe, because this was kind of inspired by Zelda Fitzgerald, who was a flapper in the 20s, and she was an absinthe girl.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go. And she was married to F. Scott Fitzgerald, who wrote The Great Gatsby, and he was inspired by her to create that character, Daisy Buchanan. So this Zelda Fitzgerald is who the Eagles thought was the witchy woman.
Huh. I wonder what F. Scott Fitzgerald would have thought. Like, yo, man, that's my wife.
And a lot of people thought originally Hotel California was about the Church of Satan, but Don Henley said that was not the case. But that was the old rumor back in the day. These are 10 songs from Ozzy's Halloween playlist.
Number 7. I was struck by lightning. Walking down the street.
Boingo, boingo.
Featured prominently in Back to School, Rodney Dangerfield.
Yes.
And Weird Science, I believe.
And they say, leave your body and soul at the door. And there's also a line about putting silver dollars on each eye. And if you don't know, that is the fairy toll so that Quran can take your dead body to the river Styx.
That's what I tell my kids every night. And then I say, sleep tight, love you.
I'm going to hell and I have to listen to Tommy Shaw?
That would suck.
These are 10 songs from Ozzy's Halloween playlist.
Number 6.
If you're going AC/DC, you could go Hell's Bells or you could go Highway to Hell.
I gotta be honest with you.
I'm curious why Ozzy picked Hell's Bells over Highway to Hell.
He picked them both. I chose between the two, Taryn.
Well, now I know.
I'm a Brian Johnson fan.
There's your honesty right there. Yeah. Actually, I think this would be great for a Halloween party. I don't think Ozzy's missing too much here. 10 songs from Ozzy's Halloween playlist.
Number 5.
Mr. Rob Zombie, in the beginning of the song where it says, who is this irresistible creature who has an insatiable love for the dead? That's from Lady Frankenstein. So it definitely checks out.
Okay.
And it's Rob Zombie. I mean, like, this is
you
his
could pick
time
any
of the
of the
year.
songs, really.
How come he doesn't do Halloween shows all the time?
He's like, what, Spirit World? Like, this is your time of the year, buddy.
He's Halloween 365.
Yeah.
So spooky. I think Randy Blythe is spooky. These are 10 songs from Ozzy's Halloween playlist.
Number 4.
All right.
So now, for me, I always had this, the Manson family murders. That was always had a connection to the White Album, because Charles Manson mentioned Helter Skelter in many different forms.
Right.
And so, they say that this is like one of the most evil songs ever because Charles Manson liked it.
But what's interesting is, if I remember this correctly, when they asked Charles Manson, like, what does Helter Skelter mean? Like, it doesn't actually mean anything, but I knew it'd freak people out. Because the swastika on my forehead wasn't enough. Right. So I wrote Helter Skelter.
Yeah, really nice guy, but his music's weird.
Thanks, Squeaky. 10 songs from Ozzy's Halloween playlist.
Number 3. in a pet cemetery. I don't want to live
Ramones? So Stephen King, massive Ramones fan.
I would not have got. Okay, fair question. Would you personally want to be buried in a pet cemetery? Because in theory, you get to come back.
So in your closet. Your closet is a pet cemetery.
I really enjoy animals.
I'll be a
so
box
maybe a
in your
pet cemetery
closet.
would be where I would want to be.
Yeah, so I said, I'll be back, guys.
Where's Miles' body? Oh, it's under Steve's shoes. Steve, some things are better off dead.
Some things. My dog was lovely.
Yeah.
But think about that statement, all right? The guy says some things are better off dead. You're talking about their child.
That's right.
And that's kind of insulting. Like, damn, man.
He sucks.
10 songs from Ozzy's Halloween playlist.
See the evil in his eyes.
Number 2.
So you're saying, Taryn, that Ozzy put himself on his own playlist?
I mean, he had to, right?
Listen to the riff. I mean, if this was your doorbell, like no kid would trick or treat at your home.
They do say that this song, Black Sabbath's Black Sabbath, was considered the first doom metal song. So for all of you that like to compartmentalize metal, this was the first doom metal song.
Okay.
I don't think you could argue that, bro.
These are 10 songs from Ozzy Osbourne's Halloween playlist. We made it to number 1.
Number 1.
Yeah! Ozzy again, Ted. It's called Mr. Crowley. It's an awesome
So good,
song.
too. There's nothing more evil than an organ. You know what I mean? Like that evil organ.
That's what my wife said.
Good.
And I know you've done your research. What do we need to dig up about Aleister Crowley?
Nothing.
So Aleister Crowley was an English occultist and ceremonial magician who founded his own religion in the 20th century. And that is why Ozzy Osbourne wrote Mr. Crowley, was to kind of pay homage to this guy.
Well, Taryn, enjoy your pump house. We'll see you coming up at 6. Do you, man, I hate to ask you on the air, but I'm going to anyway because I don't care. Do you have new Green Day coming up tonight?
I do. It's
right.
the world premiere, the Odyssey world premiere of the new Green Day. The American Dream is killing me.
Okay. You have any idea when you're playing it?
Oh, my gosh. I don't at the moment, but soon after 6 o'clock.
All right. We'll talk to you coming up here later on at 6 o'clock. Taryn, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Shot of the day is on the way. You are listening to The Men's Room.
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo Stove Fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
Dealing with an accident and injury claim can be overwhelming. Let Phillips Law Firm fight for you. We understand the pain and suffering, and we're here to guide you through. Call 1-800-JUSTICE today for a free case review, or visit justiceforyou.com and let Phillips Law Firm help you on the road to recovery.
Getting older means a world of change, but some things still stay the same, like being at risk for type 1 diabetes, because type 1 can happen at any age. So screen it like you mean it. If just one person in your family has type 1, you're up to 15 times more likely to get it too. And 50% of type 1 diagnoses happen after the age of 18. So screen it like you mean it. Type 1 diabetes starts long before you need insulin, and one blood test could help you spot it early and lower the risk of serious complications like diabetic ketoacidosis, known as DKA. So don't get caught by surprise. Screen it like you mean it, because getting answers now can help you get prepared. The more you know, the more you can do. So don't wait. Talk to a doctor about how to get screened. Tap now or visit screenfortype1.com to learn more. Again, that's screenfortype1.com, and screen it like you mean it.
At OXO, there's a recipe for innovation. We create products that put a new spin on form and function. Add a small measure of convenience, a peel of comfort, and just a pop of freshness. Because no matter what you're making, we want to make it better. OXO. Better. Guaranteed.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, so coming up in just minutes, we'll drink and toast with the shot of the day. And we do have your headlines on the way at 5:50. But first, quick check-in with Mike Hawk and some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
Thank you, Miles. Apparently, perms are making a comeback.
Oh, awesome.
It's time, boys.
Is it?
Does that mean that big hair is coming back, too?
I mean, look, I'll be fair. I don't know everything that a perm is, but to me, it means big hair.
Right.
Essentially, you make your hair look different than what it is.
Correct.
But it's not just curling it or straightening it. It's something extra that is unnecessary.
It's kind of bound to happen, right?
It is.
Sure.
Like bangs came back.
Yeah.
Everything comes back.
I'm about to
right?
say, I feel like all
Everything
styles
comes
make
back.
a comeback.
They do.
There's some early pictures of my mom when I was just a baby, and it's like, wow, you got your hair up there.
I'll look at pictures of my parents like, what the hell are you thinking? And how are you attracted to each other?
And we're going to be there too, man. At some point, we're going to look back on the pictures just from today.
My kids already laugh at me.
Oh, do they?
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm looking up perm right now, and like a lot of the more modern pictures, I feel like you've already seen people. It doesn't remind me as the perm I knew when I was growing up.
Right.
Sure.
A little more tight then.
Yeah, look a little more like a wet dog.
That was a big thing. Make sure your hair looks wet.
Oh, I remember. I remember my mom going. I remember my sister going. It was a massive deal.
Goodness. A new poll found that 7% of people own more than 500 books, and 9% don't own a single one.
I might own more than 500.
I've seen your shelves.
Between me and the wife.
Definitely own more than 500 books.
But we read voraciously.
Sure.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, if you got the chance, we read. That's what we do.
I've always wanted to, man, but for whatever reason, I have a problem with the time that it takes to get lost into a story. You know what I mean?
It depends on the book, for sure, right? And certainly when kids are around the house, it's not as easy. But a lot of times, late night, once the kids go to bed, I'll just read until like 10 to 1 in the morning. I'm just reading the crap I want to read. Weekends when you can. And if I go on vacation, count on the fact that I'll put down 2 or 3 books.
And if you have some insomnia going on one night and you really just cannot get to sleep,
sure,
pick up that book. Within 3 pages, you will be out.
I pick up my wife's books for that.
Yeah. Even if it's interesting, you'll still be out.
My dad tells a story that my grandpa used to do that I've always wanted to try and do, but he went on a vacation one time where he went to a hotel with a book. Like, I think he went to like the Hudson News and grabbed a book off the shelf.
Yeah.
And he left the book at the hotel. He had just finished it that fast.
Dang.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I just don't read that fast.
I know. Same.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I like reading, but I mean, it took me probably 2 months. Like, granted, I'm only on the light rail for so long to read that. I mean, it took me a while to read one book.
Sure. Sure. And to be fair,
I'll listen to books on tape.
Oh, yeah.
Which is much better. I can sit there and be like, all right, I got it.
Yeah, my son's all about that. I'm like, hey, you got to do a book report, though, homie.
Right.
You know.
Retain some of it, man. No, and I get that. I do the same thing. If the bus ride to and from work, that's what I'm reading.
Yeah.
So, other than that, there's not a whole lot of points in my life where I just stop and read. I'd love to. I'd really love to, but...
Well, as an adult, I believe it's just tougher because you have adult responsibilities.
Sure.
There's always something you need to do. So sometimes when you read, it's like, I'm going to put this off until tomorrow and read this now.
It's in the context of what you're doing. I wake up in the morning, and the first thing I do is start reading everything.
Yeah.
I don't consider that reading. I just
that's
consider
research.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I'm reading nonstop.
Right.
And
that's a good point. True.
I mean, I'm reading all the time. When I get into work, all I do is read before I go on the air. Do I think I read a lot? Not really, because I don't have a book on my nightstand right now.
Right.
But you do.
But I do. I read all day.
Right. What's the last book you read, Miles?
Last book I read? Oh, God. Chuck Klosterman, the dinosaur one. What the hell was the name of that one?
Jurassic
Rawr. Yeah, Rawr.
Rawr.
I was going to say there used to be dinosaurs, but I think that's like an Alice in Chains album.
Oh, God.
It's fun. I just bought like 4 books. Probably about 2 months ago. I bought like 4 books. Like, I will read all of these. They're sitting on the shelf. I'm going through one of them now, and it's like, but this is the order I'm going.
Yes.
These are the books I want to read. Turns out I like this author. I will get to them, and there's no question.
I was about to say, do you mix up the authors? Do you read ones that you're not necessarily as excited to read so that you kind of get through them faster to get to the ones that you do want to read?
Sometimes this particular author, I just grabbed a book from him because I thought the cover spoke to me, right? And
Sure.
it turns out you can judge a book by its cover.
Indeed.
And it was very accurate to what I thought I would like. And I'm like, so I looked him up. I'm like, okay, he's got 4 more books. Mm-hmm. Bought them all. I'm going to read this guy's stuff.
Attaboy.
It's just off the wall, wacky. And I'm like, cool.
This week is when 46% of pumpkin carving injuries will occur.
Oh, Lord.
About 2 weeks out.
Right. It's the time. It's the time.
Pumpkins, you gotta be careful too. If you carve them too early, they're not gonna last.
Right. Is there?
I've also heard if you keep them inside your house, they'll last longer.
Okay, I was about to ask, is there anything that you can do obviously, if you keep them uncarved, they will last longer, but afterwards, that clock is ticking. I feel like there's maybe something that you can spray on the inside that'll kind of keep them alive for a little bit longer.
I've heard something. I never looked.
I don't know. Also, like this year, it kind of works out because Halloween's on a Tuesday.
Right.
So, like the Saturday and Sunday beforehand, those are the perfect days to do the carving.
Right. Let it all out. We hear from our elders all the time about how life used to be simpler, and while they are wrong in a lot of different ways and different things, they're actually right.
So we used to milk our cows.
Right.
Well, we go to the grocery store.
Right, but they're also right in a couple things. So there's actually a whole list.
The Men's Room Top 10. The Men's Room Top 10.
10 reasons your grandparents might be right when they say life used to be simpler. Way back when happiness was as simple as a tall glass of sun tea. It was catching fireflies late into the summer evening. It was a chaste kiss from the cute red-headed girl across the street.
Was it, Jason?
It was a hard candy you almost choked to death on because adults were stupid and you knew better. Good times.
Good times. So these are 10 reasons that your grandparents might be right when they say life used to be simpler. They go into the topic of privacy. Not too long ago when smart tech and GPS weren't mainstream, you could go about your day knowing you had privacy. Nowadays, some people jokingly say that their conversations are being tracked as they're speaking next to their Alexa device. And I don't fully believe that they're wrong.
They're not wrong, but you volunteered to do it.
You do.
I mean, you know.
And we kind of let it happen because Big Brother's listening. To what? To your stupid conversation about what cereal's better?
Look, I remember Mark Zuckerberg, probably 4 or 5 years ago, posted a picture of himself at home with his laptop, right? Mm-hmm. With a piece of tape, he had the microphone covered. With another piece of tape, he had the camera covered. That's Mark Zuckerberg. That tells you everything you need to know.
Correct.
Yeah, we get it.
And there is cause for concern.
Look, here's my thing, man, and I stand by this firmly, all right? So, you sign a contract with whoever you got to sign the contract with to get the convenience that you believe you need, streaming, cell phone service, etc. And everyone's, man, there's all this red tape. Yeah, there is. There's a lot of fine print. Yeah, there is. But you know what that is. All I would say is this. They're already going to sell your information. Guys, can we get a 50% cut of my worth?
For real.
Look, I don't care that you sell my information because there's nothing I can do to stop it. But it would be cool if you said, look, if you sign up for this, because you might find out you're not worth that much. You might find out that you're worth a lot, depending what your spending history is, right? And who wants to target you for their ads. But, give me 50%.
You bet.
That's all.
I mean, part of it, people will just always give up their own personal information for convenience.
Sure.
Right.
We all do.
Social Security. Says it was a sure thing a few decades back. Most people planned out retirement and could live off their Social Security and pension money. Unfortunately, today's world's a bit different. There's a reason why you sometimes see some of the elderly working as cashiers at your local Walmart or grocery store.
It's to get away from their spouse.
Right. Well, there's plenty of that too. When I worked on the car lot, some of the drivers that were out there like, I'm bored. I just need something to do. I'm not here for the money. I'm bored.
I mean, part of that is too is that's happening, and then also people are living for the longer.
Yeah.
So it's like people are running out of money because those checks aren't guaranteed.
Right. Social Security was supposed to last, 5 years? You're in your waning years?
But to Ted's point, now that we live longer, the formula hasn't changed much. It's
right. Damn.
We're living 9 years longer. That's the thing.
No social media.
It almost seems odd when people are like, why don't you just work hard, buy a house, or retire? Like, well, it's different.
Right. There's still people in those houses. Mm-hmm. Reasons that your grandparents might be right when they say life used to be simpler, they go with no social media.
Yes.
It did. It made life simpler. Look, the access to information is out there, and it's made some things better and some things easier. It's made just as much awful.
It is.
It's overcomplicated a lot of different things. Booming housing market. Yeah.
I mean, sort of. My parents told me when they were younger looking to buy a house, the interest rates were so much higher than they are now. Mm-hmm. And legislation came down to prevent it from exploding to what it was then. So Even though they suck now, it's not even close to what it was like 60 years ago.
Right. It's not close to what it was 30 years ago.
Right. They're just look, it might be bad, but it ain't anything like
my
this.
parents bought their first house like a year maybe before I was born for $68,000.
Damn.
I told you, my parents bought the one we grew up in for like 43.
I'd kill for that.
And when we moved my dad out, I think we sold it for $550.
Right. So yeah, I would take a shack that I have to rebuild for 5-digit money. I'd do it.
It's also just there's more people and stuff changes, right?
Right.
Like when they bought that house, College Park seemed like deep in the suburbs of D.C. Now it's not at all.
No, it's not.
Here's how bad West Virginia is. My grandparents bought their house for $55,000. Right now, my mom could sell it for $72,000.
Oh, right.
They bought that house in 1980. I am not kidding you.
Oh, my God.
That's the truth.
Pensions and company loyalty. Back in the day, people would stay loyal to their jobs because they were incentivized to do so.
They were what?
Yep, incentivized to do so. Says not too long ago.
What a crazy idea.
Layoffs became more common. Yep. That'd be nuts.
I think there's a whole different lot of thoughts I have on this, but at the end of the day, just everybody needs to realize, like, nobody's loyal.
No.
The company's not loyal to you. You don't need to be loyal to them.
No.
Go get the most you can.
I'm with you. I used to think that way. Yeah. No fear of trespassing. Nowadays, when we travel across the different places in the U.S., we can't help but question if we're trespassing on private property. Believe it or not, decades ago, people felt more freedom roaming around uncharted territory.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like there was a day and age. I remember as a kid, just myself as a kid, you'd end up in your neighbor's yards all the doggone time, and all they do is just kick the door open and tell you to leave.
We didn't get that. They're just like, hey, just don't mess anything up.
Sure. Right.
Yeah, there's always the one neighbor, but right. It's like nowadays, like the other day, I was turning around on somebody's driveway. I was like, I hope they don't have a damn gun.
Exactly. And you're turning around in their driveway.
All right.
My God. Simple car repairs.
That's intentional. Like, we're not making money if they can do it themselves.
Right. And this actually has a quote. It says, back in my day, you could take your car to a mechanic, get it fixed, and leave with your S intact. Yeah. Yeah. Not to mention a lot of the cars had like interchangeable parts. You could actually get under the hood yourself and figure it all out. There wasn't near as many computers inside of there that you had to fix.
I think that's the biggest difference too, right? It's just like now there's little computer systems in there.
Right.
And like some cars
you need an IT department.
I was going to say some of them, certain cars and everything, like you need a specific machine to work on that damn thing.
Right. Sense of community. It says you can blame it on social media or a new culture, but people aren't as friendly as they used to be. Yeah.
It depends on where you are.
I mean, maybe. I don't know, but I feel like a lot of that's it's broadcast to you to tell you, be worried of everyone, you know?
Sure.
There's big business in creating enemies, so I think that goes a long way.
But the number one reason...
I'm with you. I think people are still pretty damn friendly. You got to interact with them.
Got to crack the shell a little bit there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then the number one reason that your grandparents might be right when they say that life used to be simpler... darker nights.
What?
It says if you live near a big city, you might assume that being unable to see the stars at night is a normal part of life. However, many recall when light pollution wasn't nearly as bad as it is today. It says the good news is that you can still see stars in many parts of the world. Even if you live in the city, you may have to drive a bit, but you can go and find it.
You just got to get through the clouds.
I do enjoy saying, I like a good light, though.
Nights are darker.
Yeah.
Damn it. A man in Connecticut reported that his child was missing, Miles, and you'll never believe where they found him.
Where did they find the kid?
Give you all the details at 5:50.
Thank you, sir. Headlines are coming at 5:50. In the meantime, it's going to contest online for Profile This at 206-803-ROCK.
Therapy is known to be extremely helpful. But have you ever tried eavesdropping on someone else's problems? Listen to the new podcast, Say More with Dr. Sheila, starring Amy Poehler as the world-renowned self-proclaimed couples therapist.
My mother will come over when she says she will. Knowing that she's always going to be there is really nice for me because I don't have to make my own cereal.
Listen to Say More with Dr. Sheila on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
25 grand to you, 25 grand to a friend in the biggest refer a friend KISW credit union promotion ever, your buddy. Your neighbor can help you win 25 grand, a winner every month till December. So please remember, 25 grand to you, 25 grand to a friend. Details at KISW.com/referral. KISW Credit Union is insured by NCUA.
Let's face it, most people aren't making massive turkey feasts on the regular. And after 364 days of not thinking about it, it can be hard to get that bird just right. That's where Instacart, the holiday rescue app, comes in. From getting all the ingredients to prep a full seasonal spread to getting last-minute swaps in a turkey emergency, Instacart has everything a holiday host needs to save face and save dinner. And right now, if you download Instacart, you'll get free delivery on your first 3 orders and delivery in as fast as 1 hour. Offer valid for a limited time. $10 minimum per order. Additional terms apply.
Looking to give the gift of pleasure? Add a little high heat to keep the desire burning. Or maybe you just need a little self-care. Come to Lovers for the best lingerie and toys to keep things hot this holiday. Save 20% on your purchase with Lovers Afterglow Rewards. Just mention Love20 at one of our 18 Western Washington locations. Offer valid with free Lovers Afterglow Rewards membership until November 30th. Some exclusions apply.
Hey, it's Mike Hawk. Want more Men's Room content? Follow the Men's Room page of the Odyssey app and check out my live stream, A Moment with Mike Hawk and Nothing in Particular with Steve the Thrill Hill. Going live Thursdays and Fridays at 1, exclusively on the Men's Room page of the Odyssey app.
Have we made it to drinking time?
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Steve the Thrill Hill to find out who we're toasted.
Yes, indeed. And today we chose an unnamed man from England, but whose story takes place in Cambodia. Mike, you've already posted the story, I'm guessing?
It's coming up, yeah.
Okay, it's coming up. Just do yourself a favor and look at the picture later to do this particular situation justice, all right? So, our honoree was one of 3 Brits visiting Colombia. He was taking them to sights and their party. Our honoree passed out drunk in his hotel room, but he made the mistake of leaving his window open. Well, in Cambodia, this is a bad idea because of the local population of monkeys, and they're known to take advantage of open windows and wreak havoc. That was the case for our honoree. His buddies found him passed out in bed, and with him was a monkey. The monkey had undone his pants and was actually giving him a mouth hug.
Oh.
His friends,
oh man,
being true friends, they snapped a picture of the scene, which I saw, and yeah, I don't have words for it. Then his friends went outside and made monkey noises through the window and wanted to startle the monkey by being inside, as they feared that if the monkey was startled, it might bite off a certain part of their buddy's anatomy. In the end, their friend woke up during the act, booked a flight home, and has not been seen since.
And never will be again.
Damn.
I mean, the monkey did it. I'm just glad I'm with the friends. Don't startle him. There's a good chance that monkey could have bit it off.
Monkey's not out.
Did you see the size of the monkey?
Yeah, pretty
that's frightening.
Okay, so I know you're picturing like a really small monkey. This is not a particularly small monkey. The picture does this thing absolute justice. He got filleted by a monkey.
He was monkeying around.
Yes, he was. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies.
Down the hola, bichola!
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
Hey, Steve the Thrill Hill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Thomas. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Liquor and whores, bitches.
Liquor and whores.
All right, Thomas, you understand how this here game is played?
Sir, yes, sir, I do.
Fantastic. You have a choice of one of the 3 OG categories. We have drugs, the wonderful world of drugs, We have bite me. In other words, what did someone find in their food? And finally, interior decorating, where you guess the object that ended up on the inside of someone.
Oh, I've been missing the interior decorating one. Let's go with that.
That statement is accurate. A man went to the hospital complaining of constipation. Now, initially, he was given laxatives, but the blockage remained. Doctors next asked if this was usual, to which the patient responded that no, indeed, constipation was not a usual occurrence with him. Well, next, doctors asked if there had been any substantial changes to his diet. Once again, the patient denied that they had switched up any of their usual eating habits. Well, at that point, he was taken for x-rays, which revealed the very likely culprit for his constipation, because the object was lodged in his rectum. Now, knowing that the patient had not eaten the object, doctors asked if maybe his constipation started around the same time that he shoved the object up his own anus. Well, I hope you're sitting down for this, but yes, his constipation began right after he stuffed something into his rectum. Now, why the patient did not lead with that, we will never know. But emergency surgery was performed. The object was successfully removed from his backside. The question is, what did he have up his backside? Was it a cell phone? Was it a beer bottle? Was it a D battery? Or was it a foam dart? So cell phone, beer bottle, D battery, or foam dart. This guy put one of those in his no-no and then couldn't figure out why he was constipated.
Did it say where he was?
Where he lived?
Yeah, where is he from? Where's
that? I do not know, but I do know that it's somewhere in the United States. That's
Thomas, I'm going to go D battery.
D battery.
Yep.
Can you go to run them again?
Cell phone, beer bottle, D battery, or foam dart. I'm changing it to cell phone. I think I got an idea what this guy's doing. I'm going to go cell phone, Thomas. I'm changing it.
You know, I was kind of thinking cell phone, too. I'm thinking he probably put it up there, put it on vibrate, just called himself over and over and over.
You going to stick with that one?
You guys are a little freaky, but cool.
Hey, flip phone's fun.
Yeah. I'm going to go cell phone.
Okay, Ted.
Yeah, I'll go foam dart.
Foam dart.
Foam dart.
1,000,000 shot, Doc.
What was blocking this guy up? Was it a cell phone, a beer bottle, a D battery, or a foam dart? We're going to find out next.
That was a tease.
I'm Snoop Dogg, and I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing. But I'm done with it. I'm done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all funky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove, fix 5. They took out the smoke. Now you can have a nice blaze without any clouds ruining your day. Go smokeless. Go to solostove.com. Tell them Big Snoop Dogg sent you.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Categories: interior decorating on profile. This man was constipated, went to the doctor. Something was lodged in his backside, and the doctors kind of figured out it was inserted. It was not swallowed. Question is, was it a cell phone, a beer bottle, a D battery, or a foam dart?
And Thomas, that is a question that we posed to you. The Ted Smith, you went with the foam dart, which, by the way, my favorite selection up there. I don't know why.
Foam dart.
It's just funny. It was not a foam dart. Thomas, you agreed with Miles. Both of you went with the old cell phone and said he put it on vibrate. I understand what the point of that was. You're right.
Oh, we got it.
Now, here's the thing. Honest to God, as you go through the article, he did not have it on vibrate. He just had it on silent. But, this is no joke, when the doctors pulled it out of his rectum, there was a missed call. Oh, yeah. So it still worked. They made it a point to note that in their notes. Like
that is great. That is great cell phone coverage.
That is. I don't know why they don't advertise it.
Now for all the TV news all the time. Time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
That is good coverage, though. It'll get you anywhere.
I mean, that, yeah.
All right. Your choices today, you got the Jimmys.
Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel.
Writers.
Ooh, writers.
Seth Meyers. Or Ted Smith.
Yeah. Is it Ted or is it late night?
That's right there in the title. All these guys have teams of talented writers helping come up with monologues each and every night. It is up to you to determine, is this an actual late-night joke and from whom, or could it be a The Ted Smith original?
I don't know if you guys saw this, but it was reported that yesterday a baby was born at a game between the Cleveland Browns and the Indianapolis Colts at Lucas Oil Stadium where the Colts play. It's a great story for this kid to tell, minus the Colts and Browns part.
Found. The Ted Smith.
That was me.
Damn it. It was good down to the finish. It was not a bad game.
But still, they're going to be like, oh. Well,
but the most important thing was the baby was born.
Yeah.
Colts Browns, that's exciting.
Oh, no, that's wrong. Peyton got one. I kind of forget he got one there in Indianapolis.
Yep.
Browns never been to Super Bowl. The big story in the NFL this weekend is Taylor Swift. Will she go to the Chiefs game? And sure enough, she did. Travis Kelce had his best game of the season with a touchdown, 12 catches, 179 yards, and 35 friendship bracelets.
Myers.
Kimmel.
You know, the big story in the NFL this weekend is, did Taylor Swift go to the Chiefs game? And why, sure enough, she did show up in Kansas City. Travis Kelce had his best game of the season. He finished with a touchdown, 12 catches, 179 yards, and 35 friendship bracelets. So what a haul.
Netflix just released the official trailer for the upcoming reality show Squid Game, The Challenge. Critics are saying it's just like Golden Bachelor because you spend all season hoping your favorite character doesn't die off.
Oh, gee. Wow. Seth Meyers.
Fallon.
All right.
Netflix just released the official trailer for their upcoming reality show, Squid Game, The Challenge. Oh. Critics are saying it's just like the Golden Bachelor because you spend all season hoping your favorite character doesn't die off.
The remaining games of a youth football season in Tennessee were canceled after parents of opposing teams got into a fight and one man allegedly brandished a gun, while in Texas, that's just a 5-yard penalty.
Seth Meyers.
Yeah, that's Seth.
The remaining games of a youth football season in Tennessee were canceled recently after parents of opposing teams got into a fight and one man allegedly brandished a gun, while in Texas, that's just a 5-yard penalty.
And it's funny, not this season, but last season for my kids' soccer team, right? They're kids, all right? So playing soccer, wasn't the parents. You know, the parents you're yelling to your kid, blah, blah, blah. But the coach of the other team, I do not remember what he yelled out. But my wife looked him dead in the eye from across the field. Excuse me! He shut up so quick. I was just like, damn, baby. She was like, F that. We have a problem. I was like, wow. Wow, man.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys remember the woman that was at the Rams game. They kept showing her on TV. Or Chargers.
Yeah.
Right, so then people were like, she's a plant. She's not real. Right. And then I liked that I saw McAfee. I think it was McAfee had her on. Somebody else did, too. And she was like, no, I'm just like that. Like, I'm like that at my kids' soccer games. People are kind of like, geez, that's just her.
Mm-hmm. If you know her. Yeah.
But she shows up and supports.
It is kind of wild, though. We were talking about things being simpler. And then people were like, well, here's pictures of her in, like, some other NFL gear. And she's like, where's the Vikings? And she's like, yeah, well, I grew up in Minnesota. I moved to L.A. Mm-hmm. Like, if I cheered for both of them. It was like, which is fine.
Must be a conspiracy.
Yeah, I mean, look, full disclosure, if it wasn't for Dan Snyder, I'd probably still be a Commanders fan.
Yeah, but he's like saying I'd still drink the water if not for all the cyanide in it.
Yeah, he was so awful. I just stopped watching football, and Seahawks got good, and I live in Seattle.
Mm.
Yeah. All right, speaking of living places, Darius Rucker, he was on the Kelly Clarkson show, and he was telling a funny story about when he was in college, moving into a new house with one of the guys from Hootie. They got some old furniture from his grandma's house, and Darius got scared.
I was in college, and me and Dean, who plays bass in Hootie, we moved into this place, and we just got a bunch of beds from my house that were around, and I had my grandmother's bed. My grandmother had died, and I wake up 3 o'clock one morning, and I look at the edge of my bed. My grandmother's sitting there. I sit up, and I wipe my eyes, and I go, wow, and she's still sitting there. And I get up and I run out of my bed and I run to Dean's room. I was like, Dean, my grandmother's ghost is in my room. Can I sleep in your bed? He went, no. I went on the couch.
I don't know that I've ever heard him laugh that much.
No. I thought you could say, it turns out Dean was like, your grandma's not dead. She's visiting.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, I don't know. Even to this age, like, I just feel like if another adult comes in your room, first I'd be like, you got to show me that. But I wouldn't be like, no, you could sleep in here.
No, dude, figure it out. Yeah. No, you can't be here. Turn the light on. Leave me alone.
Yeah, especially if it's another buddy. I don't know. I don't know why I'd have a girlfriend and she's in another room, but I guess I'd be like, all right, there's one.
Yeah,
in your
those
room.
nights. I know why. It's not every night, but there's a few nights. Yeah.
Right. There's a ghost in there. That was just me. I always talk about everybody's in here as a fan of Stranger Things.
Yep.
I like the way they phrase this. That by the time the 5th and final season of Stranger Things starts filming, those kids are going to be collecting Social Security. Basically, look, I mean, they're staying young in character, but obviously those kids are all, I don't even know.
Probably in their early 20s or late teens, I would think.
Right. I want to say Millie Bobby Brown is like 19 or 20 now, so they're all getting there.
Yeah.
I was going to say, but according to the producer-director, he says, quote, the passage of time is definitely not helping. That being said, our hair and makeup and wardrobe department are pretty exceptional, using costumes, wigs, and makeup. Now, this is the line. And listen, you've seen a lot of shows where they flashback and stuff. Like,
Sure.
Hollywood makeup is phenomenal. Like, what they can do. So, like...
But can you make a 6'2" kid 5'5" again, right?
All right. The height thing could be a little tougher, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to ninth grade.
He says, we're going to use all the tools available to us, and I know the cast is eager to get back to work as the rest of us. Yeah, I mean, look, I would think it'd be tough taking that long with any show, but when you have a cast of kids who went through puberty, and now are young adults, like, they're like, all right, let's go.
Your voice has changed, your appearance has changed, all that stuff.
Yeah, and there's a lot of flashback stuff in a lot of different shows. Sometimes it's easier to tell than others.
But, you could also write, if you know for a fact that is the case, and the way Stranger Things is written, you could just say it's 7 years later.
Yeah.
For those of us that watch that particular show, the way they do it, you can say, man, they still live here. Maybe they're about to go to college, but one last weird hurrah before they, go into full adulthood. You'd be cool with that.
I like it sometimes, too. Obviously, Stranger Things isn't a comedy.
Right.
But, like, sometimes, too, like, I remember Seinfeld used to always do, like, if they flash back to when they were kids, they would just have ridiculous stuff.
Of course.
Right? Like, George would have hair. So just, like, sometimes... Right. Sometimes some of those flashbacks are kind of funny, too. You know what I mean? It's like when Thrill talks about his kids seeing pictures of him with hair, and they're like,
oh my God, they think it's hilarious.
Yeah, and it's just, like, so funny.
It's not even that bad. Now,
so does everyone.
They were like, Dad, your beard was black? I'm like, yeah, man. Like, until you were born, and then things changed.
Yeah, my bigger issue is just a lot of people I know out here have only known me, since like 30. So they're just like, I just looks weird. I just never knew you to have hair. Or mainly the one I get now is people are like, wow, your face just looks completely different without the beard. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, it's funny. I mean, because even my wife, she'll look at pictures from way back, still in Baltimore, and it's like, Jesus, yeah, that's what Ted looked like when we met.
Yeah.
I mean, just like you forget.
Let's see. Last night, look, Mariners fans, it's tough. But you can feel a little bit better, I guess. As we were leaving the show last night, I said to Mike, does it make you feel any better that both teams in that ALCS were from your division? Mike promptly said no. Look, the Mariners you want them to be in the postseason. I think it's better that they're from your division. You know how good it is. But also, I think it's not just Mariners fans. I think everybody across the country is just sick and tired of the Astros.
Everyone's sick of the Astros, but also, and it can be any sport, where you have divisions and conferences and all that. You go like, right, on the one hand, if you did not get to the promised land like you wanted to, you hope you lost to the best, right? I want to lose to Muhammad Ali if I'm a boxer, but I'm still pissed that I lost to Muhammad Ali, and I don't want him to win at all, so you're kind of torn. I want to know that I came from the best.
The problem with the Astros is for the past 5 years, they've been the best.
Right.
So now they're the Patriots. They're the Red Sox, the Yankees, whoever on the pedestal. They're that team in baseball.
Yeah. And when you look at the Rangers, too, man, I mean, they sat there 2 years ago and said, look, this is our plan. This is what we're going to do. And it worked. Right. Credit to them. It has worked out well.
Verlander didn't pitch well in New York at all. It comes back to Houston and pitches great.
Yeah, I know. That one's wild. Also, watched a little football as Monday Night Football was on. Obviously, I was surprised to see the Niners lose 2 in a row. the Vikings, to me, like, they did get rid of their best offensive player, the running back, but it's like Kirk Cousins is still a quality QB. They actually looked pretty good last night.
They did.
San Francisco's missing a couple people. That's still a very good football team. Me and Mike were talking earlier. It's like the schedule coming up for the Seahawks is just brutal. And it's like, it's kind of funny because, like, the NFC West has a hard matchup coming, and then the AFC East, because, like, Seattle's got to go play, right? We got to play Cleveland, then they got to go to Baltimore. And it's
But I feel I'm going to the Baltimore Seahawks game, in case anyone's wondering. Thank you for asking. So I'll be there for that game, but I don't know how to feel about it.
I do, because you're going to want my seats, because they're better than yours.
Then give me your seats.
I will say this. Listen to the Seahawks post-game show, and all those guys were kind of a little bit let down as far as their second-half performance. Geno especially with a fumble and everything else, and an interception. As far as one weekend goes, as far as how you can change your standings, Rams lose to the Steelers. Cardinals obviously lose to the Seahawks. 49ers lose last night. So even if you think you played subpar on that weekend, the way that weekend shifted the division was very much a positive in the Seahawks' favor.
Yeah, the NFL is still kind of, in my opinion, wide open. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. Like, I think they're up there. I think the Eagles are pretty damn good, but
I think we all agree on those two teams.
Right, but everybody else, it's kind of like, that wouldn't be shocked if anybody starts making a run.
No,
you never know.
no.
But you know what? That's one good thing about the NFL. They do have parity.
At least it makes it interesting.
That's one cool thing about college football this year is there is some more parity when, like, I think any team in the top 10 right now could still win a national title.
Thank you, Portals.
Right, the Portals do come through. All right, let's see. A couple weeks ago, we were talking about the Wiggles. You have Amazon Prime, Hot Potato. The story of the Wiggles.
Oh, my God.
Oh, really?
That premieres tonight. If you're a baseball fan, good news. You have another Game 7 in the National League Championship Series.
Oh, Lord.
I know that'll be on in your house because of the Philadelphia Phillies.
People think I'm bad. I'll tell you, watching my wife, she's a Phillies fan, all right? So watching her watch this series has been an experiment in language that maybe we don't use around the kids.
Did she go get cheesesteaks from Colazzi's for the game?
You know what? She didn't, man.
Well, that's sad.
I don't think she's a real fan then.
I don't either. You tell her we said that.
No, I told her this morning. What's the other place? What we're talking about at the market? Italian sandwich place. Oh, God damn it. We brought it up yesterday between us. I told her this morning, I said, hey, man, in the next few weeks. Salume, thank you.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
I said, everyone on the show is going to beg you, just based on the time that it's open, and we can't do it, to go get Salume. So she didn't quite roll her eyes. She's more searching her brain. She goes, okay, but we have to pre-order. I said, no problem. Just let us know when we got to do it. She's like, I'll think about it.
Just order like 4 meatballs. Also, if you're like being your college football nerd, you do have some action tonight over on ESPNU if you want to see that. Western Kentucky University, pretty cool. They have their mascot is a different emblem for every position group.
Oh, wow.
So
that's kind of cool, man.
And Big Red is one of the most recognizable mascots at all college sports.
Thank you, Tim. We appreciate it. You're listening to The Men's Room.
Are you dealing with a personal injury? Don't go it alone. Turn to the experienced team at Phillips Law Firm. Their attorneys have helped thousands of clients get the compensation they deserve. Call Phillips Law Firm now. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. A dad calls police after losing his son at the grocery store, then realizes, I left the kid at home. Meanwhile, an L.A. man is arrested for going where? The dinosaurs roam.
Yeah.
Man fakes being stabbed to get ride home by ambulance from the bar. When you steal mail with a rat trap, yeah, you've gone too far. And a woman flees from the cops with a license plate that reads, will run. It is time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's Mike Hawk.
All right, our top story. We got a Connecticut where a concerned father needed to call authorities. After making his way back to his car following a quick stop at the local market, he became panicked after realizing that his son wasn't in the car where he had left him. Thinking quickly, he called authorities to report him missing and scanned surveillance footage to see if they could find the alleged kidnapper. The search revealed that he had actually made 2 trips to the store that day, once accompanied by his son earlier, and the second time he was alone. In the end, they made their way back to the boy's home where he was found safe and sound. The father, however, was given several field sobriety tests, which he did not perform to satisfactory standards and received several charges.
Yeah, that'll happen if you call them and they spend resources and it turns out you're hammered and left them.
Right. Good job, buddy.
Come on, man.
Oh, no, I just left him at home. Damn. In other news, California Highway Patrol got themselves into a chase that honestly they should have seen coming. They pulled in behind a Ford Mustang after they were found to be speeding, but instead of just pulling over, the driver sped off, leading officers on a chase. The incident reached speeds of over 100 miles per hour until it came to a sudden stop when the Mustang collided with an SUV carrying a family.
Oh.
Luckily, nobody was seriously injured in the crash, though that could have been pretty damn bad. Authorities honestly should have seen the chase coming, though. The Mustang had a sign taped over the license plate that simply read, quote, "Will run."
Yeah, well, they're honest.
I don't know who Will is, but he is honest.
Will run.
Will run.
Yeah, whatever, dude. Pull me over. I'm going. I'm out.
Wild story out of Utah. Several people have been indicted for a complex theft. This one was weird. The report alleges that one party bought paleontological resources from unknown individuals that managed to infiltrate federal lands and extract them, including more than 150,000 pounds of dinosaur bones. The fossils were then discreetly transported and sold at gem and mineral shows. They're facing several felony charges.
Really?
Yep.
I mean, like, who owns dinosaur bones? They're 65 million years old. Show me your deed.
Sure. Well, isn't it?
I don't know how it works.
Same system for like gold mining? Like you have to pay for the right to dig up that area?
Maybe, but what if it's like in my yard, I have a metal detector. It turns out, I don't know, somebody's buried a bunch of S down there.
Sure.
It's worth money, and sure, a museum would be better suited to display it than me, but it's on my property, dog. If you charge me to live here, then I feel that what's on my property. And I know that's ridiculous because that's not how it works,
right.
But like, I found it.
Yeah.
It's in my yard, not yours.
I can't disagree with you there. Men's Room Sports, the final game of the championship series to decide who will be going to the World Series. Mrs. Hill, if you're listening, I recommend that you turn this off because I'm going to give you a little quick update here. The Arizona Diamondbacks are in Philadelphia for Game 7. Winner goes to the World Series. Currently tied 1-1 in the bottom of the third. That is over on TBS.
So it's a ball game.
And also tonight, already underway, your Seattle Kraken are in Detroit, taking on the Red Wings, trying to get win number 2.
And not get shot.
I'll go to another game.
Let's freaking go, boys. Let's get it done. And that is it for your sports and your headlines. With that, Mike Hawk is out.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time for the return of Who Sucks Less. The lovely Taryn Daly's up next with the debut of the brand new Green Day song.
Yes, indeed. It is all true. But in the meantime, well, we be all about this bitch for 180 seconds or so. So until then, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.
From the very beginning, your kids mean everything to you. That means you do anything for them, especially if they're at risk. So when it comes to type 1 diabetes, screen it like you mean it. Because even if just one person in the family has it, your child is up to 15 times more likely to get it too. Screen it like you mean it. Because type 1 diabetes can develop at any age. And once you get results, you can get prepared for your child's future. So screen it like you mean it. Type 1 starts long before there are symptoms. But one blood test could help you spot it early, before they need insulin, and could lower the risk of serious complications like diabetic ketoacidosis or DKA. Talk to your doctor about how to screen for type 1 diabetes, because the more you know, the more you can do. So don't wait. Tap now or visit screenfortype1.com to learn more. Again, that's screenfortype1.com. Screen it like you mean it.
Therapy is known to be extremely helpful. But have you ever tried eavesdropping on someone else's problems? Listen to the new podcast, Say More with Dr. Sheila, starring Amy Poehler as the world-renowned self-proclaimed couples therapist.
You know, it's funny, as I was making the appointment to come today.
I'm sorry, I made the appointment.
I
booked the appointment.
Listen to Say More with Dr. Sheila on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Did you know that 1 in 5 children across the U.S. are at risk of hunger right now?
As a grandmother, I know the importance of a filled tummy and the joy it brings. This holiday season, I invite you to join me in filling a few extra plates for the millions of hungry kids out there. With a $10 donation, you can help provide up to 100 meals. Please visit nokidhungry.org/chip in today, because every child deserves a full heart and a full belly.